I think we're ready. Okay, get that over there. Momento. Hello, Simon Bridges. How are you? Nice to see you. Mighty Reds 1976. Absolutely, yeah. Let me just get my camera sorted there. Is that better? Yeah, that looks a bit okay. I'm here. Am I live and dangerous? Is the camera working? Is everything working there with a chubby? Let's see, camera mic. Yeah, okay, there you go. Okay, there you go. Okay, Fat Gent, good evening. Pinball, Ty Leeds, Kenny J. Ed Sweeney likes hairy women, I certainly do. Leo Malley, Eugene Vincent, Darren Drew, Dixie Enormous, Dutch Farang, Daniel Mills, Stephen Gamble, Scott 1977, working fine, Ed, good at everything. Philip Mulville, Cambodia girl press, thank you for that, mate. Simon, the Baldy Flogger, Asian Paradise, Kipax, Ed Sweeney likes hairy women, looking sexy, Ed. Who may or the hairy women. The Mongenator, good evening. I've never heard that one before. Joey Roberts in UK. Mark Oller, good evening, Eddie. I wasn't going to miss another live stream. Recently I had my booster. Add to that the 2 of the jabs and haven't deserted the planet yet, so I'm happy about that. Good for you, mate. Now, am I going to have my booster? Am I? Well, I haven't an appointment. It's terrible with the medical system here, getting an appointment for anything. You know what I mean? Whether you're getting an appointment for your local doctors, or you need to go to the Val Dunican clinic, or anything. You sort of heard anyway. You can't really get an appointment for anything. But apparently, what you can do with the booster jab, you can actually turn up at your local sports centre and stand in a big queue and get it on the day. Okay, so I feel better with an appointment. I mean, if I had an appointment, I'd know exactly when I'm going. The problem is, the problem is that with you being able to turn up on the day, you tend to put it off. I was thinking today, and I was thinking, no, maybe tomorrow. No, I think I'll leave it till next week. And I'd still prefer an appointment somehow. Popcorn, hi Ed. Escape from Alcatraz with Clint is on BBC 4 now, but I'm here instead. I've won over Clint Eastwood. Jesus Christ. I have triumphed over Clint Eastwood. That is the best compliment ever. Actually, I think Escape from Alcatraz, you probably have seen that before. I actually thought it was a weensy bit dull, that one. It was not the best collaboration between Clint and that great director, Don Siegel. Dirty Harry was probably the best collaboration between those two. But anyway, glad to see you here, Popcorn. Niall M, Damon. Dave will let you to. Okay, to catch your guest. Oh, yeah, fine, thank you. Nice to hear from you. Robert Scott Kipax. Pal 55, I steady. Okay, we've got over 100 in the chat now. What are we going to talk about? Well, yeah, I've got a nice guest coming on soon. You will like him. He's well worth staying tuned. He's a really, really cool guy. So he's coming up quite soon anyway. Give us something to talk about. What's happening in the world of Thailand? Well, as many of you will know, I've actually booked a flight for beginning of January to end of March, 12 weeks. I'm really, really happy with the flight. Great value, very, very reputable airline. Absolutely. Now, the fact is that a few months ago, things were looking very, very negative for the whole of the possibility of going to Thailand this year, or anywhere really. They were looking very, very negative, especially when Thailand put Britain on the red list. I thought that was the final nail in the coffin. I really, really did. Anything can happen within 5 minutes. But things are looking more positive now, not for Pattaya, not really, but for other places in Thailand, they are looking more positive. They've got rid of that dreaded 2 weeks prison hotel quarantine, which is the real thing that was keeping the tourists away. And now the news this week is that Cambodia, that great little country next to Thailand, they have also scrapped the 2-week quarantine. In fact, they've scrapped a lot of things. I think you still have to have a PCR test within 72 hours of entering that place. I think that's the way it is. But you don't have to stay in a quarantine hotel anymore, unless, of course, you test positive. But Cambodia seems to be open, not just provinces, I think the whole country seems to be open. So I don't think anything's quite confirmed yet, confirmed just yet, but it's worth looking at that. What it is with Cambodia, you have if you're in Thailand and you want to cross by a land border, I think the land borders are still very, very much closed. A bit of a disappointment, because I kind of like the land borders. But you can fly from Bangkok to Phnom Penh without a problem. It's all very, very new. So I think, the actual details, I think the details are still rough around the edges. So we've got to wait a while, but it's looking pretty good for Cambodia. So where are we now? Mark, I got an appointment with my doctor. Well, I was not serious, mate. I was not serious. Oh, you had an appointment for the booster jab, but that's good. I wish I had a booster, but I went to my local doctors yesterday. I said, look, booster jab. When am I going to have it? He said, well, we don't actually do appointments, so you can turn up at the sports centre whenever you want. Your own doctors in this country, they just haven't got the time for you. It's dreadful, absolutely dreadful. Matthew Donovan, Jamie L, nice to hear from you. Matthew Donovan, how's Tricks Eddie? Okay, not a rocket to the moon. I tell you what, I'd be cheering if everything was absolutely solid and rock solid, and I knew exactly where it was, but I don't think anyone really knows where we are these days. Let's see, Jack, hi Edward. Cambodia, no quarantine, no insurance, go whenever you want, mate. Well, you've always got to have insurance. That's the wise thing to do. Go whenever you want. This is the way it's sounding now, but I'd still sit back and wait and see. If Cambodia is open, then, my plan was to stay in Thailand for the full 12 weeks. But if Cambodia is open, well, I'd love to visit that place again. January is still it's still quite a way away, yeah. Billy Shears, the one and only Billy Shears, okay? Nice to hear from you, mate. Let's see. Leo Malley, anyone here know Philippines will be open soon? I haven't heard much of the Philippines. Not really. Paul 17, hello. Metal Hamster. Niall M, Cambodia open, no quarantine. Good. We'll talk to my guest later about Cambodia. It's worth talking about. I mean, that place has been off the radar for a couple of years now. Well, they all have, really. But it would be lovely to see that if that place can open again. And if it is really open as from this week, it will be interesting to see how quickly the bars and everything get back together. Because the last time I heard, that lovely town, Siam Reap, was desolate. It was like a ghost town. Phnom Penh, well, that's a capital city. There's always going to be something going on there. And as for Sihanoukville, well, do you like casinos, do you? Let's see. Paul Hoskin, Doctor, I'm feeling spaced out with all these boosters. I'm sure you're going to tell us the punchline in a minute, mate. Let's see. Cambodia, no vax pass for business. John Doe, are you guys quad jabbed yet? Next year, 8 jabs considered. Yeah, absolutely. It'll just go up. Well, I thought when the vaccine, sorry, the Maxine was announced, I thought, bring it on, man. Then I was told you have to have 2 of them, and now being told that you have to have 3, and it'll probably go to 4 and all that. Yeah, absolutely. Graham Johnson, Edward, why all the CC about the airline you were flying with? Graham, because the fact is, 99% of the people who watch this video are really good people. They are really, really good people, and I'd love to tell you, but there's always going to be an occasional knobhead out there who wants to throw a spanner in the works. I start telling people what airline and what my flight time is. Something bloody dodgy could happen. You know what I mean? There's always an odd knobhead out there. That's the sad reality of it, really. So I don't like to, I'll tell you after I've had the flight. Metal Hamster. It looks like Cambodia's trying to get ahead of Thailand and Vietnam. Steal some of the expats and tourists. As a guess, I wouldn't say they're trying to steal things. I just think they're opening because they need to. I think all countries need that tourism. The peak season starts, well, now, really. Cambodia has a very busy festival going on with the next couple of weeks. It's the water festival that signifies the end of the rainy season. I did a video on it about 3 years ago. I was in Siam Reap, and it was buzzing. It was really, really lively. Apparently that's being cancelled simply because they're not going to get the people there just yet. But it's I mean, you know, Cambodia is a great little country, not as great as it was, because it does not have that wonderful beach resort the way that it should do anymore. Cambodia, a test on arrival, then that's no insurance required. Neil Fleet, hi Neil. How are Neil Fleet, are you the one who went to Gambia? Are you perhaps still there? I'd love to hear your report of it. You know, it's somebody sent me a photograph on there. You know, whether it be of a dusky-skinned, hunky Gambian male with a big, you know, sausage sort of thing, and a chubby white woman. It was old enough to be his grandmother, you know, or his mother anyway. I think that's what Gambia, you know, seems to be the thing in Gambia. But I'd like to know your report on it. Mark Ollick, yeah, for the booster jab. Okay, well, I'm glad that you've had the booster. I wish I had an appointment, but, you know, I don't know. When I go to the doctors and say, can I have an appointment, please, for the booster jab, or going to see a doctor for that, they kind of make you feel guilty, you know, like if you're wasting their time. You know, this is what our medical systems become. Under the sun, even Eddie, there's news in Pattaya that the bars might be opening soon, as there's been a U-turn. They all have to do is to get a restaurant food license. But yeah, okay, they've got to have a restaurant food license. But then if they obtain a restaurant food license, don't they have to look like they're a restaurant? Don't they have to have the right lighting, the right ambience of a restaurant? Do you want to go for a night out and just sit in the bloody restaurant all night? I want to see something that looks like a go-go bar or a live bands, or, you know, something like that. And I just don't think it'll work if, you know, they all look like restaurants out there. Leo O'Malley, booster boot December the 1st for me. Good for you. I better get my skates on. If, like I just said a moment ago, if I had an appointment for the booster, I'd know exactly when that was. I'd turn up for it, get the whole nasty ordeal over and done with. But maybe it says something about me. But when they say, you know, you can turn up at this sports centre and just stand in a big queue and get it tomorrow. I mean, for me, tomorrow never comes. I always keep putting it off. Billy Shades is still so confused and trying to work out the potatoes where going to mid-December for the month. Well, it's not going to be what it should be, I'm pretty sure of that. Daniel Mills, you won't get one for 6 months after your last vaccine. Well, it is 6 months after my last one, so I do qualify now. Javier Lopez, Eddie, did you have a look at the Thailand pass? I mean, you start already. Now, I know another vlogger who was going out to Thailand in January, who appears to have done his Thailand pass. But then someone else said it's too early. You've got to do it within a certain time. I think you might have to do it within, you know, a month before you actually fly out. So I haven't done it yet, you know. So I'm not actually sure if I can just yet. That's another thing. I'm terrible for putting things off, leaving things to the last minute. I'm dreadful for that. Yeah, okay. Thailand bound, Peter. It's good to hear from you, Peter. It really, really is good to hear from you. So you've actually, you've actually booked. So have you actually booked for Christmas, Peter? I'm good to hear from you. Obviously, it's fraught with problems, as you know. I tell you what, in this particular time, I've heard more people being concerned with that terrible, terrible, terrible prospect that you could be on an airplane with someone who tests positive. And because you're on that airplane, that means that you're going to be bunged in this quarantine. Now, it's always been a possibility for wherever you're going, you know, over the last couple of years. But I seem to hear more people being concerned about it now. And it is a it's a terrible, terrible process. It'd be terrible for me. And I'm going out there for the best part of three months. But for someone who's going out there for a few weeks, it'd be absolute disaster. So, you know, it's worth bearing in mind. Niall, I'm like you, Eddie. I took the chance and booked the flight. Yeah, okay. Someone's messaged me on Facebook. Okay, thank you for for that information, Steph. Steph's my Facebook friend, by the way. Yeah, he was on here last week, and a big thanks to Steph because he was a real superstar. He's when it comes to all the technological stuff, and you know he's miles ahead of me. So he's a great guy to ask for advice. So he was a really good guest last week. Greg, Eddie, how's the new Oppo phone doing? It's a good phone. It is a really, really good phone. It's an Oppo Reno 4, which I think the retail price was 700 quid. I got it for 400 quid from Amazon. They clearly had, a few. I used it when I was traveling in Turkey. I probably should have used it, and Crete. I probably should have used it on a gimbal, but I haven't really explored it just yet. I haven't really explored it. Not really. Mark Hollick, it snowed there yesterday. Every snow that will stay in the ground is coming. It's brilliant to be here when you live. Wonder who the mystery flogger will be this evening. Cheers from Minnesota. Minnesota, isn't that where Fargo and those places? It sounds like a lovely part of the world. I'm sure it's very cold there. Let me just go forward with the chat. Oh no, and thank you for that super chat, Mark. I really appreciate that. Eddie, this is for your travel fund. Now, don't waste it all on beers. Just kidding. Cheers, Mark. I really do. Very, very kind of you. It will be. No, I won't waste it all. That will be put to good use. Don't worry about that. I really appreciate that, Mark. Okay, thanks for that, mate. Philip, thinking about going somewhere for a couple of weeks. Can I put that banner on the screen there? There you go. I'm learning with this StreamYards thing. Even the simple things, I take a while to get used to, and I've learned how to send someone a link and how to put banners and whatever. But so there you go. Nice super chat from Mark there, and I really do appreciate that. Thanks again. Philip Ford, thinking about going somewhere for a couple of weeks in Southeast Asia for Christmas in New York, maybe Cambodia or the Philippines. Just need the sunshine. UK is so completely depressing. Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. I mean, Christmas, what a terrible time to have Christmas, eh? I mean, I live in the south of England. It always makes me cringe when I see, Christmas cards and stuff where they have images of Christmas, a white Christmas, snowy landscapes and Rudolph the reindeer. In England, where the part of England where I live, it's always lashing down with rain. It's bloody pouring down. We have wet Christmases. We don't have white Christmases here. We have wet Christmases. And when on the occasion when it does snow, which is usually around, it seems to be more like March, people act as if the ice age is coming. We have a dreadful climate here. D Turkey, how many soapy massages will you get on your first day back? I just want to be there, mate. Just want to be there. Iceland, man, it'd be nice to have a soapy, a bloody good soapy. I wouldn't mind that. Iceland, man, arriving in Thailand, you only get quarantined if you or the person next to you test positive. Okay, that's that information. I know that's a bit it's a bit controversial, that subject, Iceland, man, but you are a goldmine of information, so I always love hearing from you. Might even come and visit you in Iceland one of these days. You never know. Yeah. Okay, now I'm sure this is a little teensy bit tongue-in-cheek. Bobby Crush, there's new arrangements on aircraft to maintain fresher air in the cabin. Etihad are flying the planes much lower so they can open the windows, yeah? That sounds like a wonderful idea. I'm sure that's a little bit of a joke there. It's a good one, though, quite a good one. Spawn. The big question is, will it be worth it? The environment now, even in Phuket, seems not very enjoyable. Don't forget, Spawn, this is not quite peak season yet. It's coming up to peak season in the next week or so. But November, the middle of November, is actually not quite peak season yet. So I think in a few weeks' time, you'll probably see a big difference. Graham Johnson bought an Oppo Reno 6 for €500 from Amazon. Brilliant phone. Yeah, it gets great reviews. It really, really does get great reviews. You know, fantastic. It's, you know, marvelous reviews. But I didn't. I have a couple of phones, and the cheaper one, the Samsung and Delilah one, I tend to use that more. I use that for work, to be honest with you. Anyway, let me just say, I'm going to invite somebody on here. Okay. Let's see. Let's look at the bloody gist. Steph, where are you? Okay, I've just sent something there. Oh, I'm getting to be a technological wizard. I've learned how to send somebody the link. Move to Sweden. Okay, well, it's the same in Ireland. Always felt sorry for kids that got bikes for Christmas. Can't go out on as well as buckling down. Soapy, Paul Hoskins, soapy massage, more like a baby oil bath. Okay. Whatever you say, mate. Juan Carlos, can you get extremely drunk? He didn't say that. At the soapy massage, pal, before you go, before you get the massage. It's up to you, mate. It's what the Thais say. It's up to you, isn't it? That's what they say. It's up to you. You know, up to you. I wouldn't personally. You know. It's. I mean, you know, are you sure you're going to rise to the? If you can rise to the occasion after getting absolutely extremely drunk, mate, then you're a better man than I am. Let's see. To think of, where is the easiest and cheapest country to pick girls, in your opinion? Do you want the cheapest ones? Do you want the cheapest girls? I don't. I don't think I want the cheapest girls. Not really. I don't think I really want them. Okay. Let's see. Where are we? Cheapest and Sean Ricketts, cheapest and cutest aren't always the same thing. Jason, he's in the Philippines. So how are things in the Philippines? How are things in the Philippines, Jason? Yeah. Phil Roberts, I like how whenever there's snow in the UK, the local news goes mental with reporters stationed outside the Gritters depot, and everyone's running around like the end of the world. Okay, fine. I wasn't there when there was a couple of years when it was extremely snowy, and you know, I just you know, I wasn't there then. I was somewhere else. Paul Hoskin. So, what food will they serve at the bars? I like muffins and pork sausages. Uh, whatever. Javier Lopez, I was watching your videos about Saigon nightlife. Awesome stuff, Eddie. Very good looking bars and lots of ladyboys. I mean, that Bouivien Street, you know, the Bouivien Street in District 1 in Saigon. I remember when that was very, very raw. As in fact, I think I seem to recall many years ago when that wasn't really that busy. It was the Phantom Glow area on the other side. That was the busy one. But it's you know, it's now, it looks like bloody Las Vegas. That, I mean, I've never been to Las Vegas, but you know, there's all flashing lights everywhere. But I'm glad I like that video anyway. Let's see. I've got over 300 viewers in the chat here. Donald Bootle, nice to hear from you, mate. Rusty Legs, Poppy, let's see. Where's that? That's just jumped a little bit, hasn't it? Okay, let's see. Poppy Coon, yeah. Okay. Shannon, let's see. Where is my guest, by the way? Have I sent that link right? Have I sent that link right? Okay, there we go. There we go. Oh, let's see. Bobby Cross, thank you for that. Phil Ford, they'll be serving muffins, but you'll have to provide your own meat and 2 veg. Okay. Joe Hart, Ian and Eddie, Pinball, Ian Lang. A little look at this thing here. Okay, squeaky door time. I'll be back in a moment, okay? Squeaky door time. Oh. Okay, I'm back. Let's see the comments. Well, my guest is supposed to is due to come on very, very soon. Hopefully, he's got the. Hopefully, he has got the. Where that phone is it? Phone is anyway. We'll go through the chat. Joe Hart, does anyone know if Thai Airways is serving alcohol? But what is Thai Airways doing right now? I mean, sometimes you hear that they're absolutely, they're massively in debt, and sometimes they're not in debt or whatever. That's the last time I was with Thai Airways. That was the last flight that I left Thailand with. God knows where that is. Okay. Paul Hoskin, yeah. Throbbing Chum. Is the trouble with the walrus blubber coming on? Dutch Farang. David Maria. Hear about Austria? Patagonia. Okay. I like Barry. I watch Barry the Boss. He seems to be okay at it. He seems okay. Johnny B. Are you excited about going away? I am excited about going away, but not as much as I should be, really. Not really as much as I should be, because there's always question marks over things. Things can change in 5 minutes. I mean, I don't punch the air anymore at the prospect of booking a flight or anything, because things can change in 5 minutes. I mean, you only have to look at the videos now. 1 minute it is and 1 minute it isn't. It's nothing is for certain anymore. So I'd like to be excited, but I'm just hoping that it all goes well, really. Eddie does 20 stone women. Okay, pork pies. No pork pies. A bit cold for that. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Let me see. I'll be back in a moment. Okay, now I better do this correct, because my guest has mentioned that there's no link here. He's ready to come on, but he's probably... Oh, wait a minute. I think we have liftoff. I think we finally have liftoff. I was wondering whether I was doing it right there. I think I've got crap internet signal here. But it seems to be when I switch my phone on, my guest is there in the waiting room. Okay, I won't keep it in suspense any longer. Let's have a little look at the... Let's have a little look at the chat for a moment. Okay, it's 10:30 to 32 right now. My guest is in the waiting room, okay? And let me introduce you. We've got Billy Shears in the chat. Okay, that's what I was thinking of. Billy Shears, the one and only Billy Shears from Sergeant Pepper, right? And I was thinking of him when I thought of my opening line for my guest. My opening line is, let me introduce to you. No, it's not the one and only Billy Shears. It's the one and only terrific Tom Best. It was also known as Big Fat Besty, in a nice way. Okay, Tom, can you hear me?
Hello, Eddie. How are you doing? Can you hear me?
I'm really, I can hear you fine and dandy, mate. I'm thrilled for you to be here. And I'm sure everyone will be relieved that, you're here and not some other people who they don't want to be here. So how's it going?
It's going good. It's going all right. It was my end where we had the connection problem. I had to close your Facebook bubble. That's what it was. And that, once I closed your Facebook bubble, we're here and we're live on YouTube and StreamYards.
Okay, that's it's probably very, very easy when you get together. I blame anything that goes wrong on the crap internet connection that I have here. I'm in the southwest of England, and the southwest is notoriously bad. It was only when I picked up my phone. I have Facebook on. I managed to get it going on this laptop here, but it was only when I picked up the phone that that you seem to come through. Okay, what's the verdict so far? Rusty Lid, good guest. Robert Jones, good guest there, steady. Okay, they like you. Okay. Now, first of all, Tom, what do I call you? You're known as Big Fat Besty. I don't believe that you are. I think that I'm probably heavier than you are. I'm probably fatter.
I don't know about that. I've got the headshot on now. I've got the camera angled, so as you can't see the multiple chins. So I'm not a thin man. I'm not a big man though. I'm pretty short. So there's a bit of irony there. But call me whatever you like. You can call me Big Fat Besty or Tom.
I think Tom is a good name. Tom's a bloody good. Tom Best is a bloody good. That's a good name there. Especially even if you read it as Thomas Best, it is a very, very good name. My own name, Edward Sweeney. I hate it. I hate the name Edward. I write my name as Edward, and I just do because that's my official name as far as I'm concerned. But then when people start calling me Edward, I think, you patronizing bastard, man. It's Eddie. That's who it is. I'm Eddie. So, but it's my own fault for
my brother's name's Edward. He calls himself Ned. So I don't know whether all Edwards kind of abbreviate their names.
as long as he doesn't call himself Teddy, because I spent a lot of the first years of my life trying to shake that bloody up. Although that's quite a cool name. There's a footballer, wasn't it? Teddy Sheringham, who was called Teddy. So
Teddy Sheringham, yeah. And Ted, the film.
Yeah,
he's pretty cool.
It's not as bad. So anyway, we've all suffered in the last couple of years. We're all doing things that we don't want to do. We all want to travel. We all miss doing the YouTube the way that we should be doing it. But all travelers have been dealt a vicious blow over the last couple of years. No one could ever say. I say a vicious blow, but how about the poor guys who've invested money in places like Thailand and other, really, really great vlogger Simon Lander Smiles, terrific guy. Terrific guy. I don't really know him personally, not yet anyway. But I felt really gutted when I seen he was brave enough to go and start a hotel out there in Thailand and all that, and this thing just comes out of nowhere and just so at least us, you're more like me. You're more like a traveler, a holiday maker, really. I mean, I must admit, I'm glad that I haven't invested in Thailand in any way, really, because I just fall apart about what's happening right now. But anyway, what are you doing with yourself these days? Anyway, we don't ask personal questions or nothing like
fine.
that.
Open book me. So funny you mentioned Simon. I'd met Simon in England just before he made his move permanently to Thailand. And he's a cabbie. He's a cabbie as well. And I actually met up with him at his resort. So Simon's he's the nicest guy ever, and it's really it's heartbreaking to see him struggling. The guys in Pattaya as well. Nick's got his bar. Brian Flowers has got 1 million bars as well. It's difficult for everybody, but it's difficult for us too. I mean, I work in events, so COVID has absolutely smashed me to pieces. I'm got that close to going bankrupt. I had to sell a load of my vlogging stuff. I had a Canon G7X, my vlogger's camera, that had to be sold, and I'm now working in a petrol station. This is my night off, and you got to do what you got to do, Eddie. Really is.
Tom, that's what I like about you. I follow your Facebook, and I don't do that much Facebook. Now and again, bits and pieces, maybe for half an hour a day, whatever. But you're very open on Facebook, and you strike me as a very non-pretentious person. You're very honest about what you do and everything. But you've actually. I look at your past work record. You've actually had a very colourful work record, haven't you? You've done some really lively things. Tom, I'll get straight to the point. One of your past occupations, which I'd love you to tell us a little bit about it, because I'm really so envious. I just wish I'd have done it. You were a DJ in Corfu, okay?
Oh man.
Yeah. Now, to be honest with you, I mean, I came quite late to traveling, and I love the Mediterranean. I love what I've seen of the Greek islands. And I've seen some of these documentaries about 20, 30 years ago, when they were on, about all these young people, living it up in places like Corfu and Ibiza and all this kind of stuff. And I thought to myself, because I was going through a very rough patch, I thought, I should be out there. I should be doing that. And I should be doing something like that. And I became very envious. And when I realized that you were a DJ in Corfu, it just sounded like such a wonderful time. Was that really as good as it sounds?
Yeah, it was fun. I thought you were going to mention my other more spectacular jobs than that, because Corfu is like it's tame. I mean, I was a strip club manager in Leeds. Managing a strip club, that's pretty fun. I was a stadium announcer for Newcastle United, so that was a good job. But no, the Corfu one, it was great. It becomes, so as you get older, it becomes less great, and it really is resort DJing. It's a young man's game, and I went out there to Corfu. My first season working was 2000, so 21 years ago. And then I ended up changing bars. I moved to a different bar, which I ended up spending my whole Corfu career at in 2002. And I think I ended up doing about 14 seasons in the same bar. And obviously, when you watch TV shows like Grease Uncovered, I think was a big one back in the day. Yeah. and then there was a few other. There's been loads of other ones. I was on the get your tats out, Kavos Inc.
Sounds good.
That was the tattoo one. But it's great. It's basically 100 days of work. You don't get a day off, so it is really, really hard work. But again, if I had my time again, I wouldn't change it. I would definitely go out and go and work on resorts. I mean, it's not pate art, but you can have a lot of fun, especially when you're young. And a place like Kavos as well is perfect for a first holiday. So if you've got a son or particularly a daughter, and they're looking for their first holiday abroad, and you want it lively, but you don't want it like too massive, like Magaluf and the resorts in Ibiza. They're big resorts, and you can get lost, you can get into trouble. Well, Kavos is small enough. It's a small enough resort. It's basically all down one strip. So if you are wanting to send your offspring onto a first holiday without the parents, then I'd suggest there's worse places.
What is Corfu like? I've never seen it, but what I've seen the Greek islands. I was in Crete recently, and I've also been to what is it? Rhodes, the island of Rhodes. They are the most beautiful places I've ever seen. Ever seen. I actually thought when I was in Crete recently, I thought, you know what? If I was a billionaire, which I'm quite clearly not. But if you could live anywhere in the world with perfect climate, beautiful food, beautiful everything, then that is not a bad part of the world to live. It looks fantastic out there.
I think Crete would be a good choice for that. I think Crete has fairly mild winters. Corfu's cold in winter, so Corfu is one of I think it's the most northerly of the major islands. You got Corfu and Zante is the next big one next to it, and it is cold in the winter, Corfu, so it's not really a year-round resort, but it is beautiful. Pretty much anywhere other than Kavos in Corfu is beautiful. We've got a resort like Paleokastritsa, which is absolutely stunning. It's got a shingle beach, but you've got the cliff tops, and you'll find with most of the Greek islands there's a young and lively resort. So if it's Crete, it's Malia, I believe. That's the young and lively there. Corfu's is Kavos. You've got like a main family resort, and Corfu's is Sidari. And then you've got loads and loads and loads of little villages on the beach, so you can go there and just escape everything. But it's
a gorgeous part of the world. Beautiful part of the world.
It is beautiful, and the food's great as well. If you get good Greek food, if you get bad Greek food, it's bad, same as any food. But if you get good traditional Greek food, it really is the business.
Well, I fell in love with it. Is it called gyros? Is that how you pronounce it? It looks like a kebab, but I don't like kebab, but I like that. Yeah. I like gyros. Absolutely gorgeous.
Gyros is great, and you can have it chicken or pork or mixed. And they normally stick chips in it. I don't know whether that's all.
Right, that's what I had. Yeah,
and
but they're a good generous nature of people, because after you finish your meal, they'll bring some fruit and maybe a nice little jug of white wine or rack. And I thought lots of people told me that when I'm going to Crete, I will find it ridiculously expensive, but I didn't. It's just a matter of shopping around, finding the right restaurant, and when you find the right restaurant, which is significantly cheaper than the other ones, then that's the one that you go to. I really loved it out there. Really, really enjoyed that. So,
I mean, it's great. I mean, I checked out your some of your Crete vlogs. You put a few up. I mean, I've done one vlog in about 2 years, and that was from Corfu, and people should check them out, because I've checked out the viewing numbers on all of our Greek vlogs, and nobody's bloody watched them. So watch our Greek videos.
Absolutely.
If you like.
But let me just say, I don't talk about trolleys. I as a rule, I don't talk about it. I'm not interested in trolleys. But there's one guy, he probably changed his name to recognize me for, but he commented on all of my Greek vlogs. I've done one which was 47-minute vlog, and he commented about 47 times, which meant to me that he watched every minute. And he kept saying, Eddie, this is boring. I hate this. And we don't want to see old towns. We want to see Pattaya. We want to hear about soapy massage. We want this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
So, and yet he watched all my videos. And yet, on the live stream I done last week, he said something about, you know, when will all you people stop being sex tourists and grow up and all that? I thought, well, wait a minute. I made videos in Crete, didn't I? You didn't like that.
That sounds like an under the bridge commenter to me. It sounds like where he could be living there, I think.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
yeah, the thing is as well, I like it when I don't do many live streams, but I love it when I'm watching a live stream on repeat. So if you're watching this one on repeat, if you put a message in, it's not live chat anymore if it's on repeat. So you'll find that the comment section is sometimes full of one person normally thinking that it's the live chat. So you end up with 47 different messages responding to something. Yeah,
absolutely. I think I must admit I never entertained live streams. You know, a couple of years ago I wanted to make videos because that seemed to be the thing to do. But the good thing about live streams, if they're going to go on for 1.5 hours, and I think that's about a good time. The good thing about it, it's the type of thing that you can, even on a replay, you can put on your TV set and you can be doing something else. So it's nice to have it in the background, whereas videos may only be 10 minutes long, but they require so much more attention. I think live streams, a lot of people do appreciate them. I must admit, when I come home from work of an evening time, now, and I never used to do this, but the first thing I did was just switch on the internet to see who's doing a live stream, because it's something that you just sort of fall into. It doesn't require any brain power or anything. You know what I mean?
I agree with you. I think I did have an argument with a vlogger about live streaming. And I'm not the biggest fan of live streaming, but what I will say, what live streaming is very, very good for, it's very good for information. You can get your information straight out there on a live stream, and it's very good for social. Which means people can get in the chat, they can ask you questions live, and you can interact. That's what it's good for. I prefer vlogs, edited vlogs, because there's more work goes into them, and you can condense it down into 10 minutes. Now, if you've got the time to watch a live stream, then yeah, brilliant. But if you've only got 10 minutes, I normally would prefer to watch a vlog rather than stream. But also as well, when you're doing a vlog, you can spend, as you know, you can spend bloody hours and hours putting a vlog together, scripting it, editing the vlog. In particular, I find editing some people really like their editing. I hate it. I find editing a real ball ache.
It can be very frustrating, especially if you're using Wondershare Film or
I use software called Reverie, and it's supposed to be one of the easiest ones. Well, it's not easy to me. It doesn't come easily editing. And you can edit together a video. I think that my Greek one was 20 minutes or so. And then you get like 2,000 people watching it, and you make a fiver out of it. Whereas on a live stream, you can get Mark coming along, giving you $75. That's good as well. So financially, live streams are better than a lot of the time than making.
The thing with live stream, some people cop out, and I must admit, I did this a little bit. I won't do it totally, but I did this. Is that once you start to get into the swing of live streams, you realize that it's a lot easier doing a live stream than doing a vlog, simply because you don't have all that hard work that goes in. And another thing that I found, Tom, is that when I first started my YouTube channel a few years ago, I knew nothing about cameras. I was using webcams. I was using a crap bloody and a terrible, bloody terrible YouTube's own editing system, which was bloody awful. Yeah, it was absolutely awful. You know, you upload it and the quality is absolutely dreadful. But what I've actually found that over the years, my camera work and editing has probably got a lot better.
Yeah,
the viewing figures happens. People preferred the older. You know, some of my biggest videos are ones where I've actually filmed on a crap webcam. You know, we don't need to go into detail.
My biggest video by a mile is the girls how much video, so the ultimate clickbaiting.
One of my favorite
and it's a terrible video. It's about the 5th video, Thailand video, that I put up on my channel. Other than that, before that, it was just me singing Meatloaf. And then it's awful. There's no gimbal. It's on a Hero 4. The sound's terrible. The camera's waggling about all over the place, and that's done about over a third of my channel's views is that one. But speaking of cameras, I bought a new camera.
This is the what is this exactly?
This is the Sony ZV-1.
I'm not familiar with that because I haven't looked at cameras recently, but is this a brand new model?
It's been out about a year or so. They brought an even newer one out than this, but this came out at about this rival to the G7X Mark III. And I had the G7X Mark 1, but this is apparently designed with vloggers in mind. So it comes. I bought this thing as well, which was way too expensive for what it is. But it's this like kind of like tripod selfie stick thing. There's my camera there, and it's got buttons on it, so you can start it if you like vlogging to your face. You don't have to go onto the top of the camera, and you can like customize some of the buttons. And it's got this bokeh button, which is a bit like I think the new iPhone, which I don't have, can't afford one of those. I think the new iPhone's got, it's called cinematic mode, so it does the blurry the blurry background thing. So you can press the button and go from straight, or you can have the blurry background. It's got this thing called product showcase. So, for example, here when I'm holding this up to the camera, it will focus in on the Budweiser thing there. But apparently with this Sony thing, you hold it up and the focus goes straight from your face straight to that and blurs your face. And then when you pull it back down again, the wizardry goes straight back onto your face. I've never tried it. I've had the camera for about 4 months now, and it's just sat in a box, you know, because I'm lazy.
Well, I'm sure it'll spring to life when we get travel. We talk about traveling in a minute. But what I found at Tom, I bought some before my recent travels. I bought some which I've never ever had before. I actually bought a gimbal. It was about 180 quid, and I looked at some videos. I can't remember what make gimbal it is. It is, but I bought a gimbal. I thought, well, this is going to boost my, the quality of my filmmaking and all that. So I done my travels. I went to Greece and Turkey. I was out for a total of 7 weeks. I was planning on longer than that, but 7 weeks. I've done plenty of videos and all that. Do you know what? That gimbal is still in the box. I never once used it. I just didn't use it. Never got around.
Do you know what, Eddie? The thing about gimbals as well. So this new Sony that I bought has got like 3 levels of stabilization. So I'm going to be using it just on that stick without a gimbal. Again, when I've been using the it's not a GoPro, but it's an Osmo Action. So I've been using that, and that's got really good. And the new GoPros have got really good stabilization. You can just have them on a stick. You don't need a gimbal. But what I didn't like about, so when I had the G7X, I used this gimbal. And phones are all right on gimbals because the phone gimbals are quite small. They're light. They're easy to use. But when I have the Canon, even though it's a small camera, it's just too heavy for the phone gimbals. So I've got this just insanely huge contraption. And the problem is, when people see you using a gimbal, all of a sudden they change their behavior. Then they're not behaving naturally anymore because they see somebody using a gimbal. Whereas if it's just a phone, or if it's just something on a stick, then it doesn't trigger their brain saying, oh, someone's filming me here. It's just like somebody making a random video.
A gimbal is very, very prominent. I was thinking, if you're filming outdoors, the smaller your contraption, the better. Really, the more more inconspicuous it is. I found with I got an Oppo Reno 4. I don't want to be spending money on an expensive iPhone. An Oppo Reno 4. I think it done so, but it was handy. It was handy for the camera. It wasn't not perfect, but you can just pick it up and use it. But I must admit, after my recent travel events, I have not but good things to say about the GoPro. I never really fully exploited it before. Mine is a GoPro. What is a 7? A GoPro 7. So it was a few years old now. But I just bought it before the lockdown came. The lockdowns came in, so I haven't really fully utilized it. But I think the camera quality of the Go, there's a couple of things about the GoPro that need to be overcome. One of it is the bloody squeak and the rattling noise of it. But I sussed that out by putting a couple of little pads in the bracket. And also, if you hold a stick, which comes with the GoPro, it's got this terrible squeak. So I think what you do is you lift up the little steps of it, and then providing you hold it right, you can be okay. The problem with the GoPro, it's great for the daytime, and also the sound quality. I didn't need a wind muffler or anything like that. Even in a windy, situation, it's still pretty good. The problem with the GoPro, it's great for daytime, but it's no good of a nighttime. It just doesn't have good night vision at all.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. That's the same with my Osmo. So the Osmo Action is basically it's a different brand, but it's a GoPro. It's the guys who make it's DJI. It's the guys who make the drones and make a lot of the gimbals.
I've never used any of that. I've heard a lot of them, the DJI Osmo and all that, but I've never actually. It's not something I've actually explored just yet.
Well, I like the Osmo Action because it's got the front screen. So when you're in selfie mode, which we do a lot, we're talking to the camera. You can actually see what you're filming. You can frame yourself. It's got a mic jack as well, so you can stick in an external mic. But the two things which, again, action cameras in general aren't very good at. One, they don't have a zoom. So if you wanted to zoom in on something, you can do it in post. You can do it in your edit suite if you're good at editing, which I'm not. And again, the field of vision is so wide. So if this is what I would normally be, if it's like a GoPro thing, it's like that. So you get loads in the shot, which I really like. But as you said, they are garbage at night. Their low light capabilities are rubbish.
Somebody just commented. Too much camera talk. Tell us about the strip club in Leeds. Let me just we're going to that in a moment. But let me just tell you something about before we leave the GoPro. I actually got to look. It freezes up, and you have to take the battery up and restart it. It has its problems. The good thing about the GoPro, it's very inconspicuous. I like it when it's strapped to the chest and you can walk along, and you can use that for B-roll footage. Then maybe add commentary later, and it's great for that. And I found that in a lot of situations, very few people actually recognize the fact that you've got a GoPro camera strapped to your chest. But I did come across one situation in Turkey recently where because they have the paragliders, don't forget, and they all use GoPros. They know exactly what that is. And I was actually in a part of the Fethiye region, a beach which is popular with expats, but is also notorious for the wongers. You know, these women who go out there to go with the young Turkish fellas and all of this. And I thought, I'll do a little bit of filming along the beach. So I walked along, the seafront, with my GoPro and all that. And then, I took it off. I thought, I'll do a little bit of filming there. I'll use that sometime. And I had a nice little cup of cappuccino somewhere, and then I was walking back towards the Dolmus, and this Turkish guy, I don't know what his situation was. I don't know what he was in a shop, or I don't know what the hell his role was, but he come out and he was extremely angry. Hey, you're the one who's taking pictures of everyone. You're filming people, you are. And I thought people don't notice the GoPro, but he did, because they know exactly what a GoPro is. He said, we've had loads of trouble there. We've had loads of trouble. I think the trouble that they've had is that particular beach is full of those 60-odd-year-old ladies who go out there to lust after young Turkish fellas. Now, it's the same scenario with Pattaya, only the other way around, you see.
Yeah.
These women might well be married back home in England, and there they are smooching up with a Turkish fella half their age, or indeed maybe some of the Turkish fellas might be telling a lady, "Oh, I love you, my darling. You're the only one," when really he's got about half a dozen on the go. So this guy said to me, we've had loads of trouble here. I've got your filmer with that camera. If any trouble, I'll blame you and I'll tell the police. He was very angry, and that's the only trouble that I've had with the GoPro. Other countries doesn't seem to be a problem, but they know exactly what it is. Anyway, let's get off that. About this strip club in Leeds.
Yeah.
Do you want to? Somebody asked, can you tell us about that?
I can. I did too. So for quite a while, I was in a strip club called Deep Blue, which is by the train station. They're both. I can talk about them freely now because they're both shut down, which is another tale of woe. But yeah, I did Deep Blue. I was the deputy manager and DJ there for many years. Cheers.
Yeah, okay. This is, I just thought to mention, this is from Lidl's. I like this Reverie Brandy. Usually about 14.5 quid for a nice bottle. This is a cognac version of it. So the jury's out on this. I haven't really decided. This is about 17 quid for a nice cognac. But, the jury's out on this. I haven't decided whether it's really an upgrade or not. But yeah, carry on, Tom. It's really interesting. Let's hear what you got to say.
Yeah, so I did that for quite a few years. I can't remember how many. And then after about 5 years of there, I was general manager. I was the gaffer of Wildcats, which was a totally different kind of strip club. So Deep Blue was kind of was very classy as for a strip club, and it was quite small and intimate, and we had a lot of businessmen in. And whereas Wildcats was big and open, and that had it was mainly stag do's. It catered for stags mainly. So yeah, I did that for a bit. I'm just trying to think if there's any safe for work stories I could tell about that.
It's a case though. I mean, we all like looking at lovely naked ladies. I do. But is it the case like yeah? Scenario like you're working in a sweet shop. After a while, you don't bother tasting them. You know what I mean? You see so many, but after a while, you do what the hell.
It's really hard work sometimes. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's great, and you can make some great memories, and it's brilliant working around pretty girls like all day, every day. But just imagine. You've got girls who, 21-year-old girl on a Saturday night, certainly at Wildcats, we'd have over 50 of them, over 50 girls working in there. Most of them. There. Yeah, well, it's closed. It's the Leeds Council shut them down.
Go there now.
When I moved to Deep Blue, we had a feeling that Wildcats, it was a different company, but we had a feeling that Wildcats was going to get shut down. So I had an agreement with the guys at Deep Blue that, if it doesn't work out at Wildcats, if it does get shut down, would it be okay if I came back and did my old job at Deep Blue? Because I've been doing it for a long time and I got on really, really well with the owners. And they said, yeah, okay. And it'll be good for you to go and work in a different strip club and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so the council hearings came round and it came to pass that I think there were 7 strip clubs in Leeds, and the council wanted it reduced to, we heard 4. In the end, they reduced it to 3, and they shut down Wildcats and Deep Blue at the same time. So hello unemployment, goodbye strippers. So that was a real shame. But it was hard. I would tell you, it was hard work, because you've got to pay these girls out, and most of them, not all, most of them are earning more than you are.
Yeah, absolutely.
At 21 years old, some of them, do things that they're not supposed to, and
I had a chat with a doorman once who worked in a lap dancing bar, strip club basically in Plymouth, and I had a chat with him, and I asked him the question. Some have always wanted to know about these lap dances. You hear they can make 500 quid a night or more, or that's thousands of pounds a week. Or you can have thousands of pounds a week, these girls. And I said to him, that is a colossal amount of money. Your average man or woman in the streets couldn't earn that amount of money. How many of these girls, when they start earning this kind of money in their early 20s, do they think to themselves, what I'm going to do is I'm going to live reasonably, but I'm going to put a lot of this colossal money away. And then in 10 years' time, when I'm too old to do this, I'll be a millionairess. I'll have £1 million in the bank. How many of those girls actually do that? And his reply was, not one of them. He actually, not one of them do that. He said they all develop a sniffing problem, the white powdery stuff. He said he's never known one of them to do that. Maybe he's wrong. Maybe there are a couple, but I would imagine a small percentage.
He's not far wrong, Eddie. I know one. There was one who worked at Deep Blue. She was a similar age to me. So back at this time, she was pushing 40 then. I'm now pushing 50. She was brilliant. She was a really intelligent girl. Yes, she was really pretty, and she made a stack of money. She was married to really, really nice house, and that's what she did. She was a career stripper. That's not very. It's pretty disrespectful word to use, but she did it for a business. She earned good money. She put it aside. But the majority, the majority are absolutely not. But then again, I mean, if I was 20 years old again and I was earning that kind of money, it's a problem. What do you do with it? You're 20 years old. You used to.
Not everybody's disciplined with money, are they? That's the truth of the matter. But let me tell you something. If quite recently, I met for the first time in my life. Honestly, the first time I met a lady who actually sort of boasted that she's a porn star. She's actually an actual porn. She said, "Have you ever met a porn star before?" Well, I probably have, but not one. But she was so proud of it. She's a well-known porn star. I'd never heard of her, but I have checked it out since. because it's all there. I checked it out since, and she was a charming. But I tell you what, honestly, say I have not met anyone for such a very, very, very long time. It was so proud and so enthusiastic about her job. She loved talking about it. But ultimately, I was disgusted, and I'll tell you why I was disgusted when she told me how much money she was earning. Oh my! I was sick. She's earning about 5 or 6 or 7 grand a week. That's a colossal amount of money by anyone's standards. And I said, well, I hope for your sake that you put this money away wisely. She said, oh, I own various properties, and I think she's. Good luck to it. Absolutely. I was jealous. I wish I was earning that kind of money. Do you think anyone would want to see me in a porn movie? Oh, my hairy body, and no, I don't think anyone would want to see me somehow.
That's how you do it, though, isn't it? We had there was a girl. I'll give a stage name actually, because it's not giving her real name. I'm friends with her, and she came out to work in Cavos, and she was technically a porn star, not a big name, but she'd done Fake Taxi. I'm sure
this girl had done that. This girl had done that.
Yeah. So she done Fake Taxi, and if you want to check her out, her stage name is Jade Wilson. Wilson, and she was out in Cavos, working behind the bar and just having a good time, which is cool. That's what people, porn stars are just like you and I, Eddie. They really are, aren't they? Apart from they're minted, we're not. We're piss poor, but
What I loved about this particular girl is her attitude. She never wanted. I don't care what. She was totally oblivious what people think. She's earning damn good money, and there are plenty of people out there right now who are not earning damn good money. And I was quite envious. I'm not earning that kind of money. I wish I was. But I don't think anyone would want to see me in a bloody porn movie. My stage in life. So, well, what's his name?
Make the trolls happy, Eddie.
Who's the one who seems to turn up in a lot of the ones that I was? Tommy Gunn.
Okay.
Tommy Gunn, I think he's the one who'd say he's probably not that much younger than me. Oh no. Okay, we'll get
if Ron Jeremy can make a career out of porn, then anybody
absolutely
can. Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, Jesus Christ! I'm probably hairier than them. I mean, when I done a test for stringers, I did that. I sat in a hotel in somewhere in Greece or Turkey or whatever it was, and I think I was wearing a vest, and people just realized, well, my God, you're really that hairy. I have a hairy back. Oh God Almighty! Anyway, just gonna have a little look at the chat. Steph Traveller is here. Steph Traveller, cheers, guys and girls with moustaches. Okay, whatever. Steph, he's cool. He was on here last week, and he's a cool guy. He's very, very. He's miles better than me with all the technological stuff. So he's great at that. So it was great.
I've been out drinking with Steph. I could tell you some stories about Steph in Pattaya.
Absolutely, yeah.
I got him singing karaoke.
I think I've seen a video where Steph is singing the karaoke. Do you do karaoke personally?
Me, I love it. Yeah, absolutely.
I love karaoke. I think you either love it or hate it. Tom, come and tell me. Tom, please tell me that you don't do Sweet Caroline.
I don't do Sweet Caroline. No, wait.
That's it. You've just gone up in my estimation.
I'm a boxing MC. We get every single sodding show I do. Some boxer comes out to Sweet Caroline, and I'm there in a tuxedo in the middle of the ring, and getting the crowd singing along at it, and it's just like, oh my God, not Sweet Caroline again.
Tom, it is top of the list. Sweet Caroline is number one in the realm of, oh Christ, no, not this again. I mean, sorry to say this, no offense to people who religiously, and I've known people who do Sweet Caroline night after night after night. Do you know these people think to themselves, well, I mean, it's a good song, but everyone does this one, so I'm gonna. They just go, oh Jesus. My favorite karaoke song. I like doing a better song than Sweet Caroline, I think, but one that nobody does, and that's why I do Where Do You Go To, My Lovely? Peter song.
Right, yeah.
A wonderful song. Where do you go to, my lovely, when you're alone in your bed? And it always goes down well. It's a brilliant song, but no one else does it, and that's why I do it. I also do Ernie the Fastest Milkman in the West, and I'll tell you what, when you do that song, I mean, I'm old enough to remember when that was number one in the chart. When you do that song, you realize what a fast-moving song! It really, really is a fast-moving song, though, and you have to keep on your toes. But another one I love doing, one of the best songs ever, I think, is Eve of Destruction, the 1960s
Barry
protest.
Maguire.
Barry Maguire, one of my favorite songs of all time. The most brilliant, amazing. He didn't actually write that song, but he done the best version of it. But I remember I done that in a bar in 104th Street in Cambodia, Phnom Penh. And you know, all these lovely Cambodian girls was around, and no other guys were in the bar. So I thought, you know, I don't want to be surrounded by girls just yet. I want to do a song. So put some music on YouTube, and I told them to put you know, Eve of Destruction on. So they put Eve of Destruction. I was surrounded by these girls, and I done what I thought was a great rendition of Barry Maguire's Eve of Destruction. I sang my heart out in that bar, and after I'd finished, I thought, well, that was good. I turned around, and all of these Cambodian girls had blank faces on them, and then one of them said, that was boring. You know, I thought, okay, so I'll skip that one. I won't do Eve of Destruction in Cambodia.
It's a great song. But I was in Greece. I was working in Sidari, actually, which is the family resort, and so I normally do Meatloaf when I sing karaoke. Yeah, it hurts. So you do Bad Hell. You know about it for 3 days afterwards.
Absolutely.
But I love Springsteen, so I thought, right, I'm not going to do Meatloaf. I'm going to sing Thunder Road.
Great song, brilliant.
Great. I love classics. I mean, the E Street Band is on the backing band on Bat Out of Hell, so they sound quite similar anyway. Meatloaf's basically Springsteen on steroids, isn't he? And pies.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But so I thought, right, I'm going to really tone this down. I'm going to try and sing it Bruce style. And I think Bruce, you know, there's, you know, obviously Meatloaf came after Born to Run, but there's a lot of Bob Dylan in Bruce Springsteen as well. So I thought, right, I'm going to tone it down. Yeah, and I'm going to sing it Bruce style. And I thought I nailed it. And I thought, yeah, this is good. And there was a bit of a ripple of applause at the end of it. And then some guy came straight up to me. He went, "Wow, man, I love that. You sound just like Meatloaf." And I thought, "You're kidding me? That's exactly what I'm trying not to sound like."
Yeah,
and it's the way it goes, but you know,
absolutely. I mean, I think Meatloaf's an acquired taste. I think you either love him or hate him. I think Bat Out of Hell's was the most amazing. I think the production and that, it was a team effort, but it was a wonderful team effort. And I think with Meatloaf, it's that voice when you first hear it, you think, wow, you know, that has got the wow factor. But a lot of people don't like Meatloaf, and I think I did a review of Bat Out of Hell, and someone said Meatloaf seems to be a cross between Bruce Springsteen and Freddie Mercury somehow.
Yeah,
well, I don't know, whatever, he can be whatever he wants, but he was quite amazing. And
I
wouldn't attempt to do a karaoke to a Meatloaf, so I'm just not good enough. I'm not good enough. I'll stick to Ernie the Fastest Milkman. I'll do Ernie the Fastest Milkman in the West. I'll stick to that. Okay,
hey, should we have a quick chat about Thailand, because we might be able to actually meet up, which would be very cool.
Absolutely. I was just about to say that. Anyway, quick chat about. So what? Do you know something, Tom? I like, especially when I'm traveling and planning for traveling, I like rock solid facts. And this is the frustrating thing of the last couple of years. There's been no rock solid facts. It's all you know, news one day and it's changing in 5 minutes time. And this is the thing that frustrates me. I've said this before on a live stream. I booked a flight last year to Thailand. It went pear-shaped. I booked one the other week. I've got a flight booked for, you know, early January. It's really you know, it looks like it's really, really good. But the one thing I don't do when I book a flight now, it's at that moment when I book it on the internet and I put all my details in and it comes up, Mr. Sweeney, congratulations, Mr. Sweeney, your flight's coming in. I do not punch the air. I do not go, yes. I used to do that. I don't do it now because there's too much doubt in my mind. I had my flight cancelled last year. I like it when you plan and everything. I like to know where I am. I think we all like to, and that's the most frustrating thing about this current situation. You just don't know where you are with it, really. But I've got a flight anyway. you know. So
yeah, me too. So I'll be following in your trails. I'm not, again, I don't particularly want to be doxed either. So, but I will give my airline. I'm flying British Airways for the first time first time to Thailand. And that's only because my airline of choice, which is EVA, they're really not flying at the minute. You can't book any EVA flight. Yeah. And ditto with Thai. So the only really direct ones. So I live in the middle of England. So there's loads of little my most local airport will be East Mids and Doncaster. So probably my nearest one where I could get a flight, to the Middle East and a connecting one is Birmingham. But Manchester's not that much further from me, and Heathrow's not that much further from me either. So I prefer to fly direct if I can.
Yeah. So I've gone in the Midlands, and he said that the good thing about the Midlands, you're never too far from anywhere. It's probably pretty good. Heathrow's the easiest airport for me to get to. So me too. I think I've got a good flight. I must admit myself. Somebody asked me that Tom, I must admit, I don't like giving my flight details and my airlines out simply because 99% of people are great. There's always the occasional nutter out there who wants to sport things. So I'm wary about that. And I don't need.
I think that's sensible, Eddie. I do. But I'm quite happy to give my airline out. I'm not going to give my flight dates. It's a really fleeting trip, this one. I'm only going for just over 2.5 weeks. So 2-week millionaire bestie this time, which would be good. But I don't mind taking. So British Airways, because they had a sale on, and I caught a price which I liked, so I went for it.
Actually, I think I heard about it from your Facebook post.
Yeah,
I think I heard about from your Facebook post. That's right. It sounded really good. One thing I didn't do it last time, and I haven't done it this time yet. I haven't booked any hotels. I've got the flight in the bag. The hotels for later. But I have heard you mention on Facebook that you there are some great deals with the hotels.
There are some awesome deals. So I don't want to give away too much about where I'm staying, because obviously what I do is I do a lot of hotel reviews, so I don't want to spoil the surprise. But one I will say, so I booked one for my birthday. I like there's a couple of hotels that I really like in Pattaya. I really like the Amber, and I really like the Barracuda. And I can say that because I've done videos, I've done reviews on both of those already, so there's no spoilers here. So for my birthday itself, I wanted to say somewhere that I knew I would like. So I booked the Barracuda. So for those of you who don't know what the Barracuda is, it's on Second Road. The location's brilliant. It's right by the Avenue shopping complex.
I know what the Avenue is.
Yeah. So it's right next door to it on Second Road. So if you want to go to like Soi Buakhao or the Hideaway, you can walk through the avenue and walk down Soi 15. You're on Soi Buakhao. If you want to walk to LK Metro, you walk along Second Road a little bit. You walk down Soi Diana, you're at LK Metro. If you want to go to Soi New Plaza or Soi 7-8, you can get Soi 6. You can just get on a bat bus right outside the hotel. Bang, you're there. So I love the location. I love the hotel. It's a 5-star hotel. I think that is pushing it. I think it might lose that soon unless it has a refit. But it's a really good hotel. And it's 35 quid a night, £35 a night.
That sounds good. No, that sounds good. For a bloody, for a hotel like that, that sounds damn good. I'm going to check that one out. Check that one out. Sounds good.
Barracuda, you can get it for that on most of them. Everybody uses Agoda. I use Agoda too. But I found this other site called Trip.com. Now, they occasionally are quite a bit cheaper. So there's a hotel which I'm not going to name. So this was a hotel I booked when I was pissed. So I came in from the pub, had a lot of beers, and for some reason on Trip.com, it had this hotel for a price that I couldn't believe. So I went and booked it, and it is expensive, but this hotel comes with this room that I booked, the room grade, comes with club lounge access, and this club lounge is where you have your free complimentary breakfast and all that lot, but it also comes with complimentary beers and snacks all day long. They've got something like it in the Hilton in Pattaya, but this hotel is in Bangkok and it's not a Hilton. But if I'd have booked it on it's an Accor hotel group hotel, and if I booked it on their app, which I sometimes do, it was coming in at about £200 a night for this room.
That's out of my budget.
It's way out of my budget too.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think the next day I woke up with a hangover and thought, what the hell have I just done? But I booked it for 2 nights and it's come in at, I think, 170 odd quid. So it's about 85 quid a night, which is a lot. It's a hell of a lot. I would never normally spend that much. But the hotel does look all that and a bag of chips. And if people want to guess which hotel it is, they're more than welcome to do so in the chat, which I can't see. But another hotel, which I'll say, just going on how good value some of these hotels are. Another hotel which I booked, but I may change actually on this one because I have reviewed it before. And I say that before. It's a hotel in Pattaya called the P Plus. So that's on Soi X sites, which is right next to Soi Chaiyapoon, Soi Pothole.
Yeah, yeah.
And again, so it's about 100 yards back from Soi Buakhao. So again, location great for the P Plus. And I stayed in it when it had just opened. And it was all right. Again, it's marked as a 4-star. It's probably not. It's probably 3. It's got a nice pool. But anyway, this hotel is coming in at £11 a night for the room. £11.
That's even cheaper than the little squalid little thing that I tend to stay in when I'm in Pattaya.
It's absolutely nothing. Other hotels, again, I'll mention a hotel which I'm not going to be staying at this time, which people mention a lot of the time, KTK Royal, which is quite close to the March Hotel. It's quite convenient for Soi 6. It's just north of Pattaya Klang. Yeah. I think I checked out. That's coming in at about 54 quid for 3 nights, under 20 quid a night. People say that's a really nice hotel. So some of the deals which are going are just really, really, really good right now. But check out all the different sites.
Well, that sounds good. No, you talk about Pattaya there, and well, obviously, you know, hopefully Pattaya will get its act together by the time you and I get out there. But what about other places? You know, I looked at I think the news might have changed a little bit now, but last Friday was very, very bad news, wasn't it? The bars are staying closed until the middle of
January, wasn't it? Yeah,
absolutely. And there's no guarantee that it might. If Pattaya isn't on the menu, it seems that Phuket and places like that may be a better option. Now, you've been to Phuket, haven't you? Yeah. Have you been to Krabi, Ao Nang? I've seen your videos from there. Yeah,
I have. Yeah. So I've been to quite a few places. So 2 years ago, when it all went wrong. Yeah, it's coming up to 2 years, isn't it now? Yeah,
it is now. Yeah.
I said my next trip, because I've been really enjoying. Don't get me wrong, I love Pattaya a lot, but I've been going there since 2001, so that's 20 years. Now I've been going and averaging, you know, twice or 3 times a year. Now I haven't been going for long stints like you do, and I'm very jealous of that, because that's just awesome, because you can really
life.
But you can really feel like you're living there if you're going for like 3 months at a time. I think the most I've done is just short of 2 months at a time. But more and more, in fact, since I've been vlogging, since I started the channel, I've actually been enjoying the islands or different places more than I've been enjoying Pattaya, because it's always good to experience new things. And places like Bangkok and Pattaya are much more, it feels like home going back, which is great. It's a great feeling to have. But exploring, you can find out places that you do and you don't like. So for example, Chiang Mai, I didn't like the old city very much at all, but I did like Niman area. I really liked that a lot. It seemed a little bit more cosmopolitan, a bit more.
I've been there 3 times in Chiang Mai. I went there, first time I went there was on my very first visit to Thailand, which is about 20 years ago. And I took a long train journey from Bangkok, and only a couple of nights in Chiang Mai, but I have fond memories. I met a lovely, lovely lady, and you never forget your first Thai girls.
Yeah,
I had a hell of a long journey on the way back. I'll tell you what, my journey, I'll tell you exactly, because I was going with Q8 Airlines via, you know, obviously Q8 from Bangkok. And I'll tell you something. My first journey home from Thailand, I woke up in Chiang Mai, and I had a long bus journey all the way to Bangkok to get the airplane, and then it went fly. Because long story short, from my hotel in Chiang Mai to arriving home here, right, 43 hours.
That's a killer.
Dreadful. But you know something? I had such a big grin on my face because this Thai lady was absolutely wonderful and all that. So I had a good impression of Chiang Mai. But then the second time I went there after a, quite a long traveling expedition. I was kind of worn out. So many bars, so much beer, so much live bands and all of that. And I didn't like Chiang Mai as much. And the last time I went there was just the last visit to Thailand, less than 2 years ago. And I actually thought it was a little bit dull. A lot of people rave about Chiang Mai. They say, this is the place I'd love to retire in and all that. Well, I can't see that. And if you really get to know the place, maybe. But I actually thought it was a little teensy-weensy bit dull.
I'm with you, Eddie, with that. Again, don't get me wrong. It was a tale of two halves of the trip to Chiang Mai. Loved Niman. Very easy to get about. It's a bit like Pat's. It's on like kind of an American grid system. So you've got like two main roads, or one really, and then another one going in one direction, and then loads of side soys, going along. So you can't get lost. You can get to A to B pretty quickly. But I'm with you. I mean, I found Loy Crow Road the most disappointing red light district I've ever been to in my life. Because you go to Loy Crow Road. Well, there's nothing there. It's just a few beer bars.
I think when you think of Thailand and you have an image of it, you think of islands and gloriously sunny weather and tropical scenery. And I think Phuket. I've only been to Phuket once. That was about 18 years ago. It was just before the tsunami, in fact. I also went to Phi Phi, and I loved it. I seem to do quite a lot when I was there. There's a James Bond island and various few things, but I love Phuket. I love Bangalore. I think it's Bangalore, the main.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Absolutely wonderful. I had a fantastic time there. But about 5 years ago, I went to Krabi, not Phuket. I went to Krabi, which is in a similar area. Now, there's a lot. I know that you went to Ao Nang, didn't you?
Yeah.
Ao Nang. I went there, but I think I went there at the start of my Thai travels before I went to Pattaya and Bangkok, and I just got lazy. I just didn't bother doing anything because it seemed to me like more of a Turkish resort. People sitting at restaurants, families, and all that. And it was very, very nice. It wasn't cheap. Certainly wasn't cheap.
No.
I should have. I felt really I should have gone out and explored the islands, but I just didn't bother. But the fact is, if I find myself there this time, I will make the efforts to get up off my ass and go and do a few boat trips to the island and whatever, simply because I've got something now that I didn't have 5 years ago. I have my YouTube channel, and I like making videos. The YouTube, you probably found it yourself. And another vlogger said there's Jim Andrews, that great guy, Jim Andrews. Yeah, really good guy, Jim. I like him a lot. He said in one of his vlogs that when you've got a YouTube channel, you do things that for your YouTube channel that you wouldn't normally be motivated to do.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely. So if I find myself in Ao Nang again, I'll go there, and hopefully it'll be cheaper than it was last time, and I will get out to the islands and make a few vlogs there.
Yeah, I thought Ao Nang was okay. I quite liked it. I really loved Riley Beach, which you just get one of the longboats from Ao Nang, and you go there. That was just stunning. The scenery and the beach itself. And there's just little things about Riley Beach that I really liked. I mean, obviously, you saw me having a cigarette. You can smoke there, and there's coconuts there. So you pick up a coconut and use that as an ashtray. And all they ask you to do is put it back to like the coconut collection point, and they will empty out the ashtrays for the next day, so you don't get cigarette butts on the beach. It's just it's a nice, thoughtful thing. I thought Ao Nang was okay. I'm glad I went there. I mean, Ao Nang Beach itself is really, really nice. Yeah,
it's got the dolphin statue.
Yeah. But again, that's that's in the south. That's like it's in the Muslim rather than the Buddhist area of Thailand, and it's just different. But so like you, I started off flew into Krabi Airport, and then made my way to Phuket. So we went via Koh Lanta, which I really enjoyed. That's a cracking island. So if you want something which is really, sorry,
I haven't been to that one. Actually, I don't think I've been to Raleigh Beach either. Yeah,
Raleigh, great. Yeah,
a lot of things I should have done there. I was kind of disappointed in myself at the end of that journey. I've come here, you know, I can't remember how many days here, but I've come here. I've stayed in quite an expensive hotel. I should have done a lot of things, but like I said, as I said a moment ago, with having a YouTube channel, it's different now. I've got something to do. It is good having it. It gives you something to do, really, doesn't it? So if I'm there again, I will definitely get up off my ass and do things. You know what I mean? I will definitely. With
the YouTube channel. I mean, I've done some crazy videos, which again might not get the greatest views, but you can't go out the way you can. But I don't feel it's right just to go out there and do soy walks of Pattaya. I've kind of like done them all.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
I know what you mean. I mean, do you remember a couple of years ago? It was getting to the stage now. You know how many? You know, everyone was jumping on the Pattaya bandwagon. I did a couple myself, and maybe you did as well. But then some people just every day we're going to have a walk through Soy Buakhao, and then we're going to have a walk through Soy Buakhao at 7 o'clock in the morning, and then we're going to have a look at it. And oh, Jesus Christ! How many walks can you do with all of this?
Yeah, so, I mean, what I try to do with some of mine. If I am doing a soy walk, and they are informative, because you know, you do a piece to camera, then you flip the camera around, and then you are informed. They are informative because it's showing people what has changed in Soy Buakhao and what it's like as of now. And you can say, oh, this bar's good, or I like this restaurant, or whatnot. But when I'm doing a soy walk now, I've tried to give a topic of conversation around it as well. So I'm pointing out, you know, oh, there's a new bar here, there's a new bar here. But in the background, I'll still be, especially if it was live, I'll be talking about another thing. I'll be talking about, you know, whether the bars can open beyond midnight, and just try and have an auxiliary topic going on at the same time. But Koh Lanta's great. It's a bit like it's quite a green island. It's a bit almost like a Caribbean vibe. Everybody's stoned on Koh Lanta. Yeah, literally everybody, even hotel receptionists. They're like,
personally, but I will have a look at that. The idea, honestly. Well, I mean, as you know, somebody asked me this question the other week. Why do you want to go in January, February? Simply because Thailand is the complete opposite to the extreme to England at that time of the year. January, February, March here. That is the time of year here that you don't want to be here. You want to be somewhere else, somewhere totally tropical. And that is why I love going to Thailand or that part of the world at the beginning of January. That's what I've traditionally done. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm not building my hopes up, Tom, because anything can happen. I don't trust the current situation. Look what's happening in Europe right now. I mean, you never know what's going to. This pandemic, long-running, never-ending Coronation Street soap opera, it just goes on, and it's going to outlive Coronation Street the way that it's going on. So, but if the wind's in the right direction, then I'll be out there in the new year. Listen, let's talk about
Coronation Street.
Absolutely. Hey, that's a good one. That's a good one. I like that one. I like that one. Let's just talk about all this red tape. Now, I messed on Facebook. I put a post up because as soon as I see all this red tape, and if I hear the horror stories about the Thailand pass and all the hassle people are going through, and I think I'm terrible with forms, online forms. I hate it. I think, oh Christ Almighty, I can't be dealing with this. But I've seem to have heard so much about it now that I think when the time comes, I think I will sort of. I'm not saying I'm going to breeze through it, but I think I will manage to get through it. But how do you approach stuff like that when you daunting online forms, or do you have the confidence to think, to hell with it, I'm going to go and do it? I mean,
it's a bit of both, and I'm very much like you. I'm desperate to get back to Thailand, and I just thought it's now or never. I'm going to book this thing and see how it goes. I mean, with the flight, it's a bit of an odd one with mine. I can change it, so it's not one of these. Right, if you don't go, then you've lost all your money. But it will cost me some money to change my flight if I have to. I desperately don't want to, and I don't think I will. I think if my plan at the moment is to do the single day quarantine thing in Pattaya. So I'm going to do it backwards. Most people will be doing it in Bangkok and then head off from there. Well, I've decided I'm going to do Bangkok at the end of it, which is how I like to do it at the moment. I like to do the trip and then end in Bangkok. It's just me, but all my hotels, I have booked all my hotels except the first two nights I've not booked. The rest are booked, but they're all refundable. They're all cancelable, refundable. Yeah. So nearer the time, we'll find out. I mean, I'm going in February, so we will know how things are going. We will know if the 1st of December bars opening as restaurants thing comes to pass. It might. Hope so. And we will also know. Sorry.
But do you think that will work? I mean, this is the word now in Pattaya. They're going to, the way of getting around it is turn the bars into restaurants.
Yeah.
Does that sound good to you? It doesn't really sound very good to me. I mean, it's.
I think it's better. I think it's certainly better than nothing. Yeah. But I don't know. And this is the thing which I wish more YouTubers would say. That 3-word phrase. I don't know. Because people,
I don't know.
No, we don't. But it's all. Anything could change from now until then. You're going in January. I'm going in February. We could get locked down in the UK. We could.
Absolutely. Look what's happening in Europe right now. I mean, I'm hoping to get my booster jab within the next week. If I can make it up, I'm just hoping to get it one way or another. I don't know if you got this, but beforehand, I mean, the doctors is fairly used. I can't even find that I can't even make a proper appointment. But they do recommend that turn up at my local sports centre, and stand in a lengthy queue to get it on the day.
Yeah.
The problem with that is that I never get around to it. I'm better with an appointment. I mean, when they say you can just turn up whenever you feel like it, that probably means that I'll leave it till the last minute, and that's just me, you see. But the fact is, you never know what's going to happen next. There's bad things happening in Europe right now. Hopefully, we'll be better. But there are other countries. You never know. There are other countries that have put Britain on the red list. One of them is Morocco, and I believe the other is Qatar. It's not, and this sounds like a dreadful thing to say. It's not entirely out of the question that Thailand might have us on the red list, or it's anything can happen. Nobody knows anything.
Absolutely, anything can and possibly will happen. My gut feeling, and again, I've just said it's okay to say I don't know and not speculate. My gut feeling is that the UK won't lock. Then I don't think they're going to lock us down or go into measures before Christmas. We've got a populist government. He does things which are popular, does Boris. That's what he likes to do. So I think if it's going to happen, it will be after Christmas. So which would affect you in January. But if you're going early January, great. You might be able to get out, and you've got 3 months to worry about what happens. Not worry about what happens here. But it could affect it could affect us. I just don't know. I don't know whether this 1st of December safe face exercise is going to happen in Pattaya. I hope it does. Maybe it will. Maybe it won't. I don't know whether, because people are saying, that the bars will reopen on the 16th of January. Well, no, that's not what they've said. They said the bars won't open until at least the 16th.
They're going to review it again at that stage.
Yeah.
But I personally just can't imagine. Turning bars into restaurants. Some of that just doesn't seem the. What about the live bands? I like a good live band. Are they going to be there? Is it going to have that kind of atmosphere? It just wouldn't be the same.
It wouldn't. And I think with me, Eddie, as well. I'll say it now. If the bars are not open in Pattaya, and I don't think anybody can blame me. I will be changing my hotels, whether we go to Phuket or maybe I always said I've not done Koh Samui yet, so I'd like to do that and Koh Tao. So maybe to do that, because we've got to call a spade, because Pattaya is all about the nightlife. I don't do a great deal in the day. What I do during the day is generally for the YouTube channel. So I might go, I did this video from Ramayana Water Park before. This time I might go out. I'd like to go and do the vineyard out by Silver Lake. I think that will make a good and interesting vlog, an interesting video. Would I do that if I didn't have the YouTube channel? No, I probably wouldn't. I probably wouldn't be asked. But you've got to be honest, because people don't go to Pattaya for the beach, which washes away every time it rains. They don't go to Pattaya for the sea, which is literally so full of shit that you can't swim in it. So it's not really a natural. No, I'll swim. I'll swim when I go to Koh Lam. I'll swim in the beach.
Koh Chang. I like Koh Chang a lot.
Koh Chang's nice. I enjoy that.
When you swim, when you see a beautiful beach with clear water and you just can't resist it, that's when you swim. Pattaya, I can resist Pattaya beach quite easily. And I know that Pattaya is a great fun. It is what it is. It is. It's grimy, it's tacky, but it is what it is. I think that's a good phrase for it. But something, I am really enthusiastic about the prospect of going to Phuket again. Now, I know Phuket is notoriously expensive. I was there for about a couple of weeks many, many years ago. I loved it. Since then, as the reputation going more and more expensive. I actually seen a video less than a week ago. That was filmed probably about a week ago in Phuket. And those bars, bearing in mind, it's not quite the peak season just yet. Those bars are on the Bangla Road area. Look really, really busy. The problem with this is that there's a lot of young people there. And I looked at some of those bars, some guys going around with the camera in these bars. There's a couple of older gents who clocked onto the camera that this fellow was using and didn't look very happy about it. A couple of older gents, but there's a lot of young people, and I'm now at this. I'm almost 60. I'm an old bastard. I'm nearly 60 years old. I'm nearly 60. I'm at to say I simply can't go in bars like that anymore, where they're all full of these young, trendy sort of backpackers. So I'm kind of wondering what would I do for a night town in somewhere like Phuket. But when it comes to the islands, I love islands. I still have like the childlike enthusiasm about islands. When I'm in a beautiful tropical island, I imagine that I'm Robinson Crusoe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I still imagine that. I imagine that I'm Robinson Crusoe with my Woman Friday. I also imagine Woman Saturday, Woman Sunday, Woman Monday, and all the rest that goes with it. I love islands. So give me have you been much to Cambodia, by the way? I know that you have been there.
Yeah, just Phnom Penh. I've only done 3 days. My views on Cambodia is don't fly Land My Airlines because they delayed me by 10 hours.
Bad experience with that.
Yeah, we got up in the air and it was an old Monarch. It was an old UK airline, Monarch Airlines, when they went bust. Land May bought one of their planes. It went up. And it's not a long flight to Svannaboom to Phnom Penh. It's an hour, if that. Yeah. Anyway, we were up for we got about halfway. They turned it round, engine problem, landed, cowling off the engine. Thought, we're going to be here for a while, and it was just a nightmare. But in a nutshell, there's bits I liked about Cambodia. I like Phnom Penh. I like the fact that they have dual currency. I like the fact that you can use US dollars, which is great. I love the fact that during happy hour, it's 50 cents for a draft beer.
Absolutely, yeah.
And quite a tasty draft beer. It's not a bad beer either. That was good. I did the prison. I can't remember what number it is, but that and the Killing Fields.
S21.
Yeah. I did that tour, that and the Killing Fields, which is good. But I have a bit of a macabre fetish for that. I've done like Auschwitz and Chernobyl and all that kind of stuff. I enjoy things like that. So yeah, I like that. It was interesting. The infrastructure is just nowhere near as good as Thailand. It's just not there.
Very characterful, though, isn't it? Very characterful, that place.
It is, but the food's crap. So you would think that Khmer food would be similar to Thai food because it's like a bordering country. Well, Thai food I think is brilliant. I love Thai food, and I thought. Maybe I just got unlucky with my restaurant choices. I was only there for 3 days, but I thought the food was pretty poor. But yeah, it's It's rough and ready. People say it's like Thailand was 20 years ago, and maybe.
No, it doesn't.
If I was in Thailand 20 years ago, I thought Thailand was more advanced.
Yeah, I mean, Cambodia's. It's a country I've spent quite a bit of time in there, and I love Phnom Penh. I heard that it was a garbage dump. People would tell me, and I fell in love with it for all of its faults and its piles of rubbish and all. It's got such character, and what comes out of Cambodia is the people. They are second to none. They are the most characterful people. They're absolutely wonderful people. They are. They really, really are. Whether it's the bar girls in the Riverside area, or the people you get to know in the bars or the restaurants, they're absolutely. I love, and the hotel staff as well. I absolutely loved Cambodia for many years. It was dealt a terrible blow a few years ago when the Chinese saw Sihanoukville and decided that main beach resort there, and decided we want this, and now they turned into a garbage dump. It's Casino City by the sea. Apparently there's all skyscrapers there now, and I love that place for many years. But things are happening in Southeast Asia. We can't really do too much about it. But there's still some lovely islands of Cambodia. The island of Koh Rong. Last time I seen it, and I've seen it a few times, it's very, very unspoiled. It's not commercialized. There's no big hotels or skyscrapers built there, and the water is absolutely beautiful. So the idea of Koh Rong, I mean, I hope some of those Cambodian islands, are wonderful. They're well worth it. Whereas the Thai islands now have probably become very, very expensive. Things are changing all the time, so it'll be interesting.
They are. But I agree with you about the back to Thailand. I agree with you on the Thailand rigmarole. I mean, I've not done my Thailand pass yet. I don't go until February, so there's no point. I've looked at it. It looks fairly straightforward. I can convert a PDF into a JPEG, but I've still got some of that to do. But I'll tell you one thing that they could make it what would make it a hell of a lot easier. And I've not heard many vloggers talk about this, because maybe it's not possible, but remember when so it was actually during when I was in Corfu, it changed in the UK. Before, you had to have a PCR test, your day 2. It used to be a PCR, and then they changed it to a lateral flow, the cheaper, easier ones. Now, my mum's in a care home, so I use these lateral flows on a weekly basis. I've got to have one before I even go in and see her. And so if the UK government are saying, well, it's okay now, you don't need a PCR test to come back into the country, you just need one of these lateral flows. So this is the Big Fat Besty 2020 plan. $20 for a PCR test, US, or 20 quid, whichever way you look at it. Or if you want to make it a bit more, 1,000 baht if it's going into Thailand, 1,000 baht. There you go. Get their official Thailand sanctioned approved lateral flow test. Do your lateral flow test. They're done in about, the result is in 20 minutes. It's not in like 4 hours like it is now. If they did that, if the Thai government decided that that's what they wanted to do for the entry system, have a lateral flow and accept that instead of a PCR, that would get rid of a hell of a lot of the ball ache. It would be $20, 20 minutes, you're free to go. You've passed your test. Because the reason we have to have the 1-day quarantine hotel is because they've got to wait for the PCR test to come back.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's either you can't wait at the airport for up to 12 hours. They don't want that. But if they put a big lateral flow like testing station in there, you can do your own lateral flow test. It's actually the same as a PCR. It's either a throat or a nose swab. I think the last one.
I've got one there.
Yeah. So if they decided in their wisdom that they were going to accept that, then that would be great. 20 quid, 20 minutes, off you go as normal. But whatever hotel you want, doesn't have to be SHA plus. As soon as you're cleared with that, you get your, and as long as you've got their tracking app or whatever they want to do, you're clear. As soon as you've got that, you're clear to do whatever you want. And that will clear the whole lot of the backlog. And a lot more people will be prepared to do that rather than jump through the hoops that you've got to jump through now. You and I are willing to jump through the hoops now, but a lot of people aren't. But I think a lot more people would be willing to visit Thailand if it was 20 quid, 20 minutes, away you go.
I think what is Tom, the idea, and I've heard this more in recently since I booked my flight. I've heard more people commenting on this terrible situation than they have before. What if you're sitting there, you're on an airplane, you sit next to someone or someone else on the airplane tests positive? More people seem to be worried about that than anything else, especially people who are going out there for for a few weeks. I mean, that's a terrible. But everything carries risk. It's a risk that if you either want to take the risk or you can. I think someone who's gone out there for a few weeks, would. It's a terrible thing. It's a terrible thing to happen to anyone. Whatever you test positive. If someone else on the airplane tests positive, and then you get bumped into a quarantine hotel. But more people now seem to be worried about that than I've noticed ever before, unless they know something that I don't know.
Well, it is really worrying, because at the end of the day, it's an expensive flight, and even if it's just that, you don't want to be taking time off work. I mean, it's precious the time I'm taking off work now. It's the first time I've ever not been self-employed. I used to be able to go whenever I wanted, take as much time as I wanted off. I mean, with my boxing schedule, I had I finish work on the 19th of December. I'm not back until the 13th of March. So technically, if I didn't have the other job, which I daren't sack off, because the thing is, if I sack off my job now, and we do go into any kind of restrictions or lockdowns, the first thing to go, just the same as it was the last thing back, will be events, big events, like what I do. So I daren't.
I'll tell you what, Tom. I've overlooked this before. We talk about some of your other jobs. Quickly tell us about your compare and the boxing events, because I know that's a big part. You're quite well known for that. So quickly tell us a little bit about that.
I love it. It's really simple. So I work for a company called Ultra Events. We raise money for Cancer Research UK. We've raised £23 million so far as a company. So I can't take much credit for that. But it's been happy to be a small cog in that big wheel. So we do Ultra Events, do different events. So the main one is Ultra White Collar Boxing. So you and I could decide, right, we're going to get fit, we're going to get 8 weeks training, and we're going to go and have a fight. You don't get to pick who you fight. So I couldn't say, all right, I really want to fight Eddie Sweeney or whoever. They will match you up with somebody of a similar
I think with me, Tom, I think it would take a lot longer than 8 weeks.
That's what you get. But it's all ages. We've had people in their not often, but we do have people in their 60s, definitely people in the 50s, loads of people in their 40s. And we also do Ultra MMA, which is the cage fighting bit of it. Ultra Comedy. We used to do Ultra Darts. I think we've binned that one off now. Ultra Adventures. So you can go and have an adventure to Machu Picchu or Kilimanjaro. You can climb up that thing. Ultra Ballroom, I host those as well. There's our version of Strictly. It's all about raising money for charity, which makes me feel good. And I love doing the events, and I get to travel all around the country. Last weekend I was in Swansea, so that was a new city for me. That was a hell of a drive. This weekend, tomorrow I'm in Wigan, and then Saturday I'm in Doncaster. Weekend after that it's Leicester and Derby. Then I've got a weekend off. Then after that I'm up in Liverpool. So I'll be doing an event up there at the Olympia. You know that place, Olympia? I've never been there.
In Liverpool?
Yeah.
I haven't lived in Liverpool for over 30 years. I don't really connect with the city.
Right, okay.
It's
the accent.
Yeah, absolutely. Some things you just can't get rid of. But you certainly seem to have to me to have the personality for something like that. How do you present? I've been trying to look how you present one of these shows. Do you do it in the classic way? Let's get ready to rumble. Do you do it that way?
Yeah, well, very similar. So yeah, I wear a tuxedo. So I'm there in my little tux. Sometimes a bow tie, sometimes a tie. I don't use Let's Get Ready to Rumble. That's Michael Buffer's intellectual property, and he sues people if he hears about MCs using his line. So no, I'll normally say let the brawling begin, or something like that. But yeah, it's what you think. I call out the fighters. We have sporting memorabilia. See if I can turn the camera around. Oh no, I've turned it off. But I don't know if you can see. If you look over there, that's Gordon Banks. So we auction these things off for charity. This is this is my personal one because I'm a Stoke City fan. Oh, by the way, I'm in Potter's Bar here. This is the little man cave I'm in.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
Quick show around. So we've got all the and the Havana Club because I love my rule, and then they've got my the shirts and there's me with my little moustache and my pint and my beer belly.
Brilliant. Absolutely. I'm thrilled that you've done a lot of interesting things. I mean, that sounds like a lot of fun, and clearly something I've enthusiastic about. You have done a lot of it. Am I right in thinking that you also have a connection with airplanes?
Yeah. That's my sad story. So when I told you about DJing and that it was so much fun and much more fun when you were younger. So I'm now retired as a DJ, but I went on way too long. So when I got to I was working, I was having the time of my life. I was about 30-ish years old. And I was working at a club that I love, this Baja Beach Club, which is a cheesy party club in Newcastle. The money was great. I was working as a stadium announcer for Newcastle United, which is just amazing. Best job I've ever had. By a mile. I did Alan Shearer's testimonial. I'm name dropping now, but it was by far the best time of my life. And so I bankrolled a bit of money. And at this time I was doing Thailand a lot. I was going to Las Vegas a lot. So I really was living the life of Riley. So I decided one of my managers in the club, he was doing his private pilot's license. Stan, great guy. And so I said, oh, that's something I'd quite like to do, because he decided he wanted to become an airline pilot. And I thought, okay, well, I'm 30 now, so I'm going to hopefully look to retire from DJing in the next 5 years. That happened. And then, so I thought, yeah, okay, I'll see if Sipper like that. So I did my private pilot's license, got that. Great fun. And that was a great thing as well. For girls, I'm DJing in a great club. I'm working at Newcastle United. Oh, by the way, do you fancy coming up in my plane tomorrow?
Wow, yeah. Who can resist that?
Yeah. It was a good time. So yeah, did my private pilot's license. And then Baja got a bit long, and I decided to leave Baja, and I decided, right, this is it. I'm going to do this. And I booked on a course to do my airline transport pilot's license. So I did it ground school. I moved down to Oxford, Kidlington Airport, sat there for just over 6 months, did 14 exams to become an airline pilot, got fired from Newcastle United because I couldn't do the midweek games because I was in school. So for a while, somebody else was doing the midweek games. I was doing the weekend games, and obviously decided, well, this is silly having 2 announcers. We're going to get the guy who can actually do them all. Yeah. Don't blame them at all for that. And then eventually failed a couple, but eventually passed all my airline transport pilot license exams, thinking this is good. So that's the boring bit out of the way. Let's do the fun bit. So all that was left to do was do what's called commercial pilot's license and instrument rating, which enables you to fly through clouds and all that lot. And so I went out to Florida to build some hours. You've got to have a certain amount of hours. Did my glass cockpit rating, which means instead of flying on just like dials you have in your car, which is a bit how like a small plane cockpit looks like. Well, the modern ones now, you're flying on TV screens. So you do a conversion so you can learn how to fly just on with all your dials on one screen. So I was doing that, burning a hole in the sky, making a living out there in Kissimmee, Florida. Got to my class 1 renewal. So you can fly on a class 2 medical. You got to have a medical to fly planes. And you got to have a more strict one, a more stringent ones to get paid for flying planes, to do your commercial stuff. And I failed it. I failed it on my kidneys. I had leaky kidneys, proteinuria. So it's a bit like how if a pregnant lady, sometimes there might be a problem with the pregnancy. They piss on a strip to see if anything's wrong. It goes green. It's like pluses and all that lot. So it basically means your kidneys are a bit like a sieve, and it's letting stuff out that it shouldn't be letting out, really. Anyway, so I failed my medical on that. I did get it sorted out, but at my age, because I was quite long in the tooth to be a pilot anyway, with a medical fail, even if I repassed it, it's just a reason to put me on the reject pile when there's so many people applying for pilots jobs. So that was the biggest kick in the balls that I've ever had. I pretty much spent about, I don't know how much, I dread to think how much. It probably was about in total £40,000 or something like that on pilot training. I've still got my private pilot's license. It's lapsed because I've not flown for ages, but technically I could go to an airport, do a 2 or 3 hours, I'd take off on landings or whatever, and pass the class 2 medical, and I could go up and fly planes again if I wanted to. But I don't, because I wanted to do it as a job, and I never want to see it. I never want to fly a plane again now because I'm enough with it.
Oh well. I mean, yeah. At least you tried. At least it's all experience. I mean, I've bloody done things which I thought, you know, I'm going to do well in it. It just went pear-shaped. I've done things like that, like buying a bloody property in Turkey, for example. That went pear-shaped.
Yeah,
put me buying a property for life. Okay,
well, I'll tell you what I like about you. What I love about your channel, Eddie, is look, we're human beings. Just because we're travel vloggers doesn't mean that our opinion is any more valid than anybody else, which is where I come back to the I don't know thing. I don't know what's going to happen in Thailand, so I'm not going to stick my neck out, and I'm not going to speculate. But I saw some of your videos, the disaster video where you got stuck in Turkey. And it's great because you're not, you're a vlogger, but you're not too proud to admit when it goes wrong. And it goes wrong for us, like my airlines thing, getting stuck there. We can screw up just like anybody else.
I screwed it. I'm not the only one, and yet I was the one who, the rep from there, that Chewy airline. I had to say, you know, I said to one point, I said, look, the flight's going to leave soon. I've lost this flight, haven't I? He said, yeah, I think you have, but I'll show you where to get a taxi back to your hotel. Well, I already know where to get a taxi. It cost me an arm and a leg coming there and all that. But it's all down to experience. I mean, travel. I tell you what, traveling. I've done a lot of traveling in South America, many other places over the years. And I'll tell you, if you actually knew how little hassle that I've had over the years, it's not even 1% hassle. I mean, I went to Brazil once at the start of my big South American adventure. Brazil. I also ended up in Colombia, went to Argentina, Bolivia, all that. And when I went to, I mean, the armchair experts, they get on my bloody nerves. They get on my nerves, those people. As soon as I mentioned Brazil, you know, I said to some guy, I'm heading out to Brazil next week. And the guy said, oh my God, man, you are crazy. You're going to get killed. You're going to get mugged, robbed, a gun. You will get a gun held to your head even before you step off the airplane. You know, it's absolutely crazy and all this. I said, is all this going to happen to me when I'm in Brazil? He said, yeah, I've heard all about it, mate. I said, well, it didn't happen last time. He said, well, you mean you've been there before, have you? You've been there, done that, loved it so much, I'll go again. You know, at least, you know, you and I, we'll get out there and explore things and travel. Sooner or later, travel will go pear-shaped, and, you know, you will throw your rattle at the pram like I did in that video. I felt absolutely bloody gutted. But at the end of the day, you have to look at nothing bad, nothing really bad has ever happened. I've never had my luggage stolen. I've never been seriously robbed or anything like that. You have to look at the plus side of things. You know what I mean? You really did. Listen there, Tom, we've been on for 2 hours now.
Yeah.
It's late. You've been a brilliant guest. You've been absolutely brilliant guest, okay?
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me on. Is there any questions from the chat which stick out, which anybody wants to ask me? Because I rarely do live streams, so
I rarely do. Any question? Okay, that's good. That's good. Any questions for Besty? Okay, let's see. I haven't really, you know, we've been talking sort of intensely. We've been talking so intensely. that I've really ignored the chat, and I like to engage with the chat, but I think people realise that there's a guest on this show, so I think it's been very, very entertaining for people. There's still enough people in the chat anyway. Bazuki, whatever. Eddie's knackered. Just look at what I've been drinking. How many of these have I had? Of course I am. Anyway,
excuse me, I'm just going to get a beer. I need another beer. Won't take me long.
Okay, Roy Gold, jumping places, good channel for Brazil. Okay, let's see. Roy Gold says jumping places, a good channel for Brazil. I think Brazil's a magnificent, absolutely magnificent. There was when I was growing up, when I was a kid, I never went anywhere. Getting the ferry across the Birkenhead was like a bloody exotic destination for me. I mean, that really was. But there was 2 countries I always wanted to go simply because of the images that I seen on movies and whatever. And the 2 countries I wanted to see was Italy and Brazil. And I've seen both of them. I've seen Italy, one of the first countries. Brazil is a magnificent. I absolutely love that country, and I would love to travel through there again, and I will travel through there again. It's a big country, but the people are fantastic, and you never know. One of these days, I might even learn to speak a bit of Portuguese. You can have a conversation with people when you don't even speak any of the language. But Brazilian people are wonderful. So what's his name again? Somebody said it's a good travel for Brazil. Okay. So any questions for Besty? Any questions for Besty? Because we're going to have to wrap this up soon.
I just briefly went into the chat for the first time. Somebody's asking when I'm back in Thailand. February. So I'm behind Eddie by a few weeks.
But okay. Tom is back in Thailand in February. Your first port of call. Well, we won't go into details about that. I don't know where my first port of call is. I think I'll be staying for the first half a day in a Bangkok hotel, and then I was planning on, for the first time ever, getting the full 3-month visa and staying in Thailand. But it looks like Cambodia will be on the menu now with the developments this week. It really looks like it. So, any more questions for Tom Best? Okay, Phil Roberts, Besty, favorite bar in Bangkok?
Ooh, favorite bar in Bangkok. I can tell you my favorite go-go, which is Spanky's in Nana Plaza, which is very similar to my favorite go-go in the whole of Thailand, which is actually in Bangla Road, Phuket, which is Susie Wong's. Susie's One, I think, the one in the back right-hand corner, which is great.
Yeah. Well, it's Susie Wong's. That's Soy Cowboy. Obviously. No.
This is the Patong one, the one in Phuket.
The
Susie Wong's there. I'm not a big fan of Cowboy.
No, I'm not a big fan of Cowboy. It's small, isn't it? And it's small, really, isn't it? And it's a bit expensive, and it's not as good as Walking Street. I mean, I've had this conversation before, but I love the go-go bars in Walking Street. But my favorite go-go bar, I won't reveal the name. It's probably not there anymore. It's probably not there. Sad to say. But my favorite go-go bar, it's not the Windmill. It's another one where they all dance natural, all the ladies with no clothes on, and they're absolutely stunning. And I've spent many a night in there just having fun with the ladies and layering at them and all that. But but absolutely, I love go-go bars, but I don't think the ones in Bangkok are as good as the ones in Pattaya. They're
not, but I think Spanky's in Nana Plaza is really good. My favorite go-go of all time is closed now, was Club Boucher. That was in Walking Street back in the day, just quite far into it, set back a bit opposite what was the FLB. And my favorite current go-go in Pattaya is, I know this is not going to be of any surprise to anybody, it's Upstairs in Kink. Upstairs in Kink is wonderful.
It's LK Metal, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, there's some good stuff there. I like the other one. What was it? Pulse. I like Pulse. The last time I was there.
The one opposite it is Touch. There used to be an absolutely stunning girl who I took along to one of dearly departed Kev's meet nights. And she used to she worked in Touch, but yeah, Kink all the way. Can't wait to go check out the new Tree Town. So Mew, who used to work, my friend Mew, who used to work in Pussy Bar. It's just a cat, guys. Pussy Bar in New Plaza. They've got a bar now called Jungle Bar in Treetown. So when that reopens, hopefully Mew and all the crew from the bar in New Plaza will have moved over. I think they probably already have to Jungle Bar. So I'll be in there quite a bit. If you want to have a drink with me, then that's
absolutely. Let's get out there. Tom, let's stay in touch on Facebook. I don't do much, but I'm getting to like it now. I didn't used to. Oh, that's another question I meant to ask you. A little bit. You know, we waffle on about it, but let's. What are the social media sites? I know that you like Facebook a lot. Obviously, you've got a YouTube channel, Big Fat Besty, which is a great channel. Absolutely, everyone subscribe to Big Fat Besty. Go and check out. He does lots of great hotel reviews and lots of other stuff. Okay, but what do you do? Any other social media at all?
I'm crap at Instagram. I'm trying. I'm going to start doing Instagram a bit more, but I'm crap at it. So all I'm doing now is I'm going to start mirroring my Facebook posts on Instagram. What I will say as well with the Facebook thing. So I've got the Big Fat. I've been crap at this as well. I've got the Big Fat Besty page on Facebook. So that's the channel page. So that's where I'll be doing all the the channel stuff. But mainly I use my Tom Best. Which is
the other one that I've logged into, isn't the Tom Best channel, not the other one. Yeah. See, I don't do that much Facebook, and I'm cynical about Facebook, and it's corny and all this kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, it's of the social media sites outside of YouTube. Facebook, it's the only one that I understand. It's corny and all this crap, but I just some of the other ones, Instagram. I've logged into Instagram and Twitter as well, and I've never got around to using them. I've just never used them. And that other one that I can't make head and tail of, that bloody Reddit. I mean, what is that?
Oh, right. Yeah, I don't understand Reddit as well. And TikTok's the same. I don't get that. I'm registered for TikTok because I wanted to have all my platforms as Big Fat Besty, just so nobody else can take the name. But I'm getting old. We're getting old, Eddie. That's what it is.
But that Reddit a couple of years ago, before my YouTube channel, anyone bothered watching it, I looked at Reddit quite a lot, and I got kind of used to it. But what it is, I was commenting on these questions, and then I realized these questions were 20 hours old. Reddit's obviously based in America. And what I couldn't get is that I would put on a comment that I thought was a well-worded comment, and it would get no upvotes. And somebody else would put the comment of nice, but with a noise and all that. And you get about 400 upvotes. What the hell is this? Is this some bloody? Is this some teenage group that are all sitting in the bedroom, bloody, warped us? I don't get it. I
don't get Reddit either. I just don't get it at all. I'm a dinosaur.
I'll skip them. I think I'll do a little bit more on Facebook, but obviously YouTube and Facebook. I think I'll just stick to those two because I simply wouldn't have the time for anything else. So let's see. Okay, any questions here? Somebody's put Besty. Somebody's put Bobby Crush put Besty. Will you be releasing a naked calendar for charity? That's a Bobby Crush kind of comment. That is. You don't have to answer.
If you buy it, go ahead. I'll release a naked T-shirt.
I'll tell you what, that porn actors that I met the other day. If anyone can give me £6,000 a week to do a cheat, I'll go and do it. I'll go and do that as well. But I don't think they will somehow. Okay. Anyone else? There was another good question there. There was another question. Okay, Brian Hudson. Question, Besty, what's your next challenge? That's the question.
Next challenge.
Well, that's the way you phrased it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd like to get out. I'd like to get out of the petrol station. That would be quite good. That would be a challenge. I'd like to. Eventually, I would like to move out to the Far East. I would like to move out. Maybe get a bar. I've got some. I've got some ideas when it comes to that, because every YouTuber who lives out there seems to be buying a bar at the moment, don't they? There's obviously Nick's got the Haciendas, Brian's got loads. Trevor Buzzin, he's getting a bar in Treetown. I think Big Fat Besty's Bar and Grill. I had a great idea for a restaurant. I will say this. It's not a great idea. It's a kind of like a Hooters style restaurant. We've only got one Hooters in the UK. We've only got one. That's in Nottingham, just down the around the corner from me. I had an idea to do an army themed one and call it Bazookas, because again
sounds bloody good. Sounds saucy. It does.
Boobs and beer kind of thing. And then whenever the waitresses all be dressed like Tank Girl. I don't know if you remember the cartoon strip Tank Girl, but
sort of.
With her, and then they take your order, and then somewhere in the middle of the restaurant there'd be this giant hopper. So they'd fill out your order, say, right, okay, that's all good. They'd stick the bit of paper in a grenade, chuck the grenade in the hopper, and it would go poof, like an explosion thing to signify that your order is in. Just silly little ideas like that.
That sounds like a really, really great theme, but I'd visit that one. I really, really would. So listen. We waffled on now for I've been over 2.25 hours. You've been over almost 2 hours now. You've been so entertained. Listen, I've got a few more questions, but I don't want to exhaust them simply because I'd like to invite you back again.
Love to come back.
I've interviewed on this StreamYards thing, and I still don't know how it fully operates, but I've interviewed two people. I've had two guests on it now. One of them is Steph. It was absolutely, I like a lot. He's a good guy. I like him. I know that you do as well, and your good self. We waffled on a guy a lot. I've sort of ignored the chat a little bit. I shouldn't really, but I'm still getting used to all of this. I'm not Michael Parkinson. I'm Steady Eddie Sweeney, the little YouTuber who would like to think he's the Michael Parkinson. I'm not up to that level yet, so I'm not perfect. But let's just look. What do these people think about Besty as a guest? And somebody's put Bobby Crush, brilliant guest. Okay, he's put brilliant guest. Okay, I knew a lot of people like Besty. You're a popular guy. And listen, I'm going to sign off here soon because after 2.25 hours, Joseph Henry, Big Fat Besty is a natural waffler. Hope to hear him again on air soon. Okay, I'm planning on having lots more guests, but I really, really hope that you will come back again because I don't want to exhaust all the questions.
I'd love to. I'll tell you what. I'll come back whenever you want, or whenever I've got a night off, or whatever. But let's make a date. But let's do a live stream when we get together in Thailand, whether it be from a hotel balcony or whatever, or from a bar. Probably better if it's a balcony stream. And we'll go live together from somewhere in Thailand.
Absolutely. The problem with Thailand, obviously, they're on a time difference in us. But I'll tell you what, I have noticed that your good friend Nick, he's doing regular afternoon UK time streams, and he's getting a lot of views, isn't he? Really, he's doing really.
Yeah. I really do wish him all the best of luck with this bar because it's got to be really, really difficult having two bars out there and having no income from them. So let's get the bars open. And I'll pop into Hacienda. One of the hotels I'm staying at, I'm not going to name it, is actually on Soy 7. So hopefully his new bar, A7 DJ bar, will be open. So I'll be able to literally pop up, get Mao, and then stagger back to the hotel. That sounds like a plan.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I wish Nick the best of luck as well. And I did message him. One thing I really, really loved what Nick was doing some months back earlier this year before the dreaded lockdown came in. I absolutely loved that TFI Friday. Is that what he called it, or did he call it so? The show that he done from the Hacienda.
TFI Happy Hour, I think. Yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrific. I'm a little bit of a night owl, and there's certain things I love to watch at 3 o'clock in the morning. So I would watch that in the replay. And when you watch that at 3 o'clock in the morning, it is just simply better than anything else on TV. So I wish him the best of luck as well. Listen, Tom, I'll be in touch with you soon. I really, really do. Everyone out there, remember, there's still a couple hundred people in the chat. Subscribe to Big Fat Besty's YouTube channel. We can all get out there and start making videos once again. Let's just hope for the best. Nothing's for certain, but we all want to travel soon. And I'll tell you something. One final question. Are you a lot more positive about travel now than you were a few months ago?
Yes, but I'm not, because I'm not confident that it won't all go tits again. That's what worries me. So yeah, things absolutely are improving, because a few months ago we couldn't have even gone to Greece. That's right. Yeah, things are definitely improving. Things are on the up. I just worry for the new year about what may or may not. I could be worrying over nothing. Really, really hope I am. But I just want to get out. I just want to get out there. Same as you, Eddie.
I did. I must admit, I am actually a lot more confident now with recent developments than I was a few months ago, personally. Because I thought, especially when that news that Thailand had put Britain on the red list a few months back, I thought that's the final nail in the coffin. But things open, and now all of a sudden it's like a little bit of a domino effect. You know, things are starting to move in Thailand. But the news this week that Cambodia is opening. That is great news, because I think that's influenced the neighbouring countries a lot.
I think that's a big one. I think you're right.
We better do the same. Yeah. Listen, a few last words. Johnny D says all the best, Besty. Bum says Besty's always interesting. A few others in the chat there. Listen, it's been a great stay. A bit of a marathon. My bladder's going. I've got to go and take a leak. It's wonderful talking to you, Tom. Anyway, a big thanks for coming on. Come on again soon. Let's hope I would love to have a beer with you and do a live stream and all the rest of that stuff when we get out to Thailand. Okay. Cheers.
Excellent. Can I say it? Can I say it?
Go on.
Vlog off.
Vlog off. Absolutely. My sentiments exactly. Okay. Cheers, mate. Cheers.
Take care, Eddie. Thank you. Bye.
I'm going to say good night now. Okay. I'm going to say good night. Thanks to Besty anyway. I've been looking down this today, understand, because I've been watching Besty. On the screen, so I may have given the impression that I'm actually staring downwards rather than looking up at the webcam the way I normally do. So I'm looking up at the webcam now anyway. But that was wonderful. Besty's been on for all of 2 hours. He's been on for all 2 hours, and he was totally entertained. Subscribe to Big Fat Besty's channel. He does some wonderful vlogs, and let's hope we can all do more in the future then anyway. Okay, listen guys, thanks for watching. Keep thinking positive. I'll be back probably Monday anyway, maybe with another guest anyway. But Besty he's been such a great guest. He's set a high standard. I think you'll agree anyway. Okay, listen, cheers. Have a great weekend.